Alberta. And look at the speed. Lamar Jackson is gone. Touchdown. Merry Christmas. 48 yards.
On Sports 1440.
1 point game. Bridges taking on Wembanyama, fading away. For Bridges.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Fins on the ice. Here's McKenna. Loose in front. Pass taking center stage. Canada leads 1-0.
Well, a fabulous Friday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook, as well as live on X and Instagram. Coming to you live, sports1440.ca. Maybe you got the app. You're out of the city, out of the province, out of the country. Thanks for tuning in. We very much appreciate it. Hope you had yourselves a wonderful Christmas and you're not having to exchange too many gifts today. It is the Jason Gregor Show, as always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the lovely province of Alberta at PlayAlberta.ca. So, thank you very much, everyone, for helping out the month of giving. Raised over $142,000, which puts us now in the history of month of giving. We're at $1,548,000 raised in the month of giving. So I know that some of you made donations on our last show on Monday or Friday, and you've been trying to get back. Make sure you get back to the Christmas Bureau and Adopt a Teen so we can fill out all of that. And we know that all those who committed to a donation will make it. I know some people got busy. It's holidays. I totally understand it. But just if you don't do it today, make sure you can do it early next week. Few days off. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Of course, the NHL shut down for 3 days, but they are back tonight. 8 games on tap. And then the Oilers will start renew their season tomorrow in Los Angeles. It'll be the first of 4 meetings between the Oilers and the Kings down the stretch. And I'll say this about the Pacific Division. Right now, toughest division in the NHL. You got 5 teams in the top 16, and you've had 5 teams in the top 15 since November 1st. 5 teams in the top 15 since December 1st. It's a tough division. And the Oilers, along with Vegas and LA, Vancouver, and the surprising Calgary Flames. They're still kicking around, the old Flames. Give them credit. I don't know how many of us thought they'd be there, but they're still here. So, and they're still battling. And so I took a deep dive into the remaining schedule, looking at who you're playing, where you're playing. The Oilers, of course, along with Vegas, all the teams, Vegas, Edmonton, Vancouver, LA, and Calgary, all have 48 games left. They've all played the exact same amount of games. So, fatigue shouldn't be much different for any of these teams down the stretch. They all have 8 sets of back-to-back, except Vancouver, who has 6. Home games, the Oilers actually have the fewest. They have 21 home games left, 27 on the road. LA has the most home games, 28, and 20 road games. They've already played over half their road games, the LA Kings. So 21 of the Kings' first 34 games are on the road. They've fared pretty well so far. And then you have Vancouver and Calgary each have 26 road games, 22 at home. Vegas is 24 and 24. So if you look at strength of schedule overall, Edmonton's set up pretty well there. I was looking just at head-to-head matchups. The Oilers do play Vegas once more. They play the Kings 4 more times, Canucks twice, and the Flames once. But where the Oilers schedule really benefits them here, they play Seattle 4 times, Anaheim 4 times, and the San Jose Sharks 3 times. So they got 11 games against the three bottom feeders in the division. That's an advantage. Calgary also has 11. Vegas only has 3 games left against Seattle, Anaheim, and San Jose. None against the Ducks. They're done their season series against the Ducks. They play Seattle one more time, and they play San Jose twice. So there's a slight advantage for Edmonton. But Vegas, just overall, strength of schedule. They got one of the easier schedules. So it's going to be hard for Edmonton to catch the other teams. They play Chicago 3 times. They play Nashville 3 times. Vegas plays Buffalo twice, Detroit twice, Montreal once. They play the Islanders twice, Columbus twice. So they definitely have a more favorable schedule, no doubt. But Edmonton, guess what? We go to Tankathon, and they crunch a lot of numbers, and they do update it, thankfully, based on what's happened now. And the Oilers have like the 5th easiest schedule the rest of the way, even with that many games. I think if they had a few more home games, it'd probably be even closer. So them in Vegas, it's pretty even. And we'll see. Can they make up 5 points? Obviously, I think they got to win that game head-to-head in regulation for sure. And then we'll see. I'll say this, though, about the Oilers and Vegas. I think today is December 27th. Fast forward just over 3 weeks' time. It'll be Sunday morning. Maybe you'll be having a coffee or a tea or a beer and Clamato, depending if you're hungover. And on January 19th, I believe that is the day that you will know how legit the Oilers' chances are to end their NHL longest division drought since 1987. Because the Oilers play 12 games between now and the 19th of January. So does Vegas. Vegas, though, 10 of those 12 are against non-playoff teams. And some of the bottom feeders, Buffalo twice. They're playing, they play Pittsburgh and Chicago. It's Philadelphia. They got a pretty easy sked. Meanwhile, the Oilers, they're going to enter their toughest part of their schedule. So now they play LA, Anaheim back-to-back. It's not terrible. They had a lot of breaks. Then they come home. They play Utah, fine. But after that, starting next Friday, the Oilers play 9 games in 16 days. 7 are on the road, but all 9 are basically at different times. So you're playing Anaheim on Friday the 3rd. Then they play in Seattle the next night on the 4th. Then they're into Boston on the 7th, Pittsburgh on the 9th, Chicago on the 11th. They come home to LA for 1 game on the 13th. Then they're back out. They play Minnesota on the 15th, in Colorado on the 16th, and in Vancouver on the 18th. If Edmonton can continue to play well, because guess what? They're the second best team in the league since December 1st. Second best team in the league since November 1st. The only team better, the Vegas Golden Knights. So they're going to have to play great during that stretch. And we'll see if Vegas can take care of business, they should be in a really good position. So, because they take San Jose tonight. Then they got Calgary, Montreal, Philly, Buffalo in San Jose. Then the Islanders, the Rangers, Minnesota, Nashville, Carolina, Chicago. So the only playoff teams are Minnesota and Nashville. Now, and Carolina. Now, Calgary's close, but they're officially not a playoff team. But man, Chicago's brutal. Nashville's not good. The Rangers they can't win to save their life. The Islanders can't score. Buffalo's terrible. Philly, they work hard. Montreal, well, they do have Line right now, and he's red hot. But obviously, it's a little bit easier. So I really think that's when you'll know, Oilers fans, kind of what you feel. But Oilers looking good. And I believe home ice advantage matters. Look at the years the Oilers. Now, Vegas and Colorado, I think, were better teams than the Vancouver Canucks were. And last year, the Oilers didn't have home ice against Vancouver, but they were able to win in 7. Didn't have home ice against Florida, lost in 7. I think now didn't have home ice against Dallas. 1. They played great that series. I thought they really outplayed Dallas, except for Game 6 where Stuart Skinner outplayed Jake Ottinger. But historically, having home ice advantage, at least for a few rounds, gives you a much better chance. So we'll see if the Oilers can do that. Connor Halley is with us. Con man, how you doing?
Doing good. Gregor, how about you?
Good. How was the first Christmas with young Benny?
It was good. Yeah. You know what? We didn't have to take care of him too much. I'll say that. A lot of passing around. A lot of the aunts and uncles and cousins wanted to get their time in with the newborn. So it was really good. He had no idea what was going on, but he slept very well and we got through it. How was yours?
You know what? pretty low key, which was great. We had, we host my siblings and my mom on Christmas Eve, and then my mom stays over, and then we go to my in-laws on Christmas Day, which is great. It's just a little jaunt. And then Boxing Day, for years, my mom always hosted with all our extended family, and now my sister's taken over that. And so we had that with, I don't know how many people, 35, 40 people, I think.
Oh, wow.
So it's great. A lot of my cousins get to see them. So, yeah, we had a great time. It was nice out. Like the weather was great. Lots of ODR for the last few days. So that was nice. Had to go early in the morning because then it kind of get a little bit slushy in the afternoon. But lots of fun. And you know what? What was your favorite gift that you received?
Good question. I would say favorite gift. My wife will say it was Benny. He was a good Christmas gift. I didn't ask for too much this year, but I really like gift cards. And older in my age, with a little more money to spend on things, I prefer going out and getting some like nice Nikes every year, a couple pairs, and I got a couple gift cards for the Nike store.
All right.
So yeah, it's nothing like. Actually, you know what? Let me take that back. Let me walk that back for you. I got a little device. You plug it into your TV through the HDMI,
okay,
and you can play like every retro video game. Like I think it's kind of the same technology that goes into those stand-up machines that have all the games, but this one plugs into the TV. So Ashley and I were playing Super Mario Bros. Last night.
Ooh.
That's got to be the one. Yeah, that was it.
That was it.
I forgot about that. How about you? Anything fun this year?
Well, this might not see. This is a very dad gift, but I got a hockey stick holder for the garage.
Okay.
Because I was tired. My son's sticks and my sticks, and he always has a few extra because now he has an ODR stick and he outgrows them. Then he has a shooting stick, all these different things he likes to play because obviously his game stick is different than what he uses in the ODR and what he uses in the garage firing pucks. And I get it. But they're in the corner and they're right by one of my shelving units. And they're in like a stand-up cylinder, but it's not. And every now and then you go in there and they fall over and it just drive me up the wall. So they got me a stick holder. And man, Christmas Day, I was putting that in the garage. And now today when I drove out of the garage, I looked over and I see all the sticks hanging in the rack. I'm like, this is unreal. Oh, yeah. So without question, it was very easy. It's like actually 4 screws right into the drywall. You got the braces. Man, it took me like 5 minutes to put it up. But I'm telling you, that was it. Now I got a lot of books because I like to read. But I'm telling you, without question, the stick holder. It's just an organizer. And you know what? When you have anybody out there with multiple kids and sticks and whatever, you know what I'm talking about. It's the worst if you don't have them where they're not out of the way. And so this thing's great. So I absolutely love it.
Every time you go in and out of the driveway, you're going to smile.
Oh, yeah. It's
like,
right there on the
perfect.
wall. And it's like organized. I'm like, oh, this is perfect. So I get rid of that junky cylinder thing. It looked like crap. It didn't really work. Drive me up the wall. Like I should have done this years ago. But I finally complained enough. Because, I just would never think about it for myself. But so, yes, that was easily that. So text in best gift you got or best gift you gave. Can be just as good. So 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Also, we got a few questions to get the text line fired up. We'll get back into to sports mode. We got a loaded show for you today. Colin Schock, the head coach of the Condors, will join us. Don't look now, Oilers fans. Young Matvei Petrov is starting to find his game in only his second year in the pros, but he's been on fire lately. Also, James Hamlin will return tonight. First time since in 20 games that he's played. So there are 4 senders who they're hoping to have at the start of the year in Philp, Pedersen, Hamlin, and Gruby. They're all finally going to dress. This will be the first time tonight. Actually, no, I think they did it once. Maybe the opening game of the season. But no, maybe not. Peterson was hurt. So, yes, that will be a huge news for them. Miles Simmons will be by. We'll talk some NFL. Is anybody going to beat the Chiefs, or is this like a foregone conclusion? Because the Chiefs just wrapped up 3 games in 11 days and absolutely spanked the Steelers. 3 games in 11 days. And they did not look worse for wear. Their head coach is wearing a Santa Claus outfit in the dressing room afterwards. Are you kidding me? Now they've got themselves guaranteed the number 1 seed in the AFC. So they got home field advantage all the way through to the Super Bowl. They've Yeah, they haven't officially. Technically, I guess someone could tie them for the best record overall between the Lions or the Vikings. In theory, they could get to 15-2, and then if the Chiefs lose their final game, they'd also be 15-2. But man, they look unreal right now, Connor Halley, and they're getting healthy. Hollywood Brown comes back in. Like they look dangerous.
Yeah, I know. Pains me to say it, Gregor. I can't get in the enthusiasm like you have. I think in the AFC, we saw something that the Steelers, the Texans on Christmas Day are not contenders. They are pretenders. Yeah. And hey, you might want to say they're on their way up. Sure, that's fine. There's 3 teams in the AFC. It's the Ravens, it's the Chiefs, and it's the Buffalo Bills. The rest, I would say, have no chance to do any damage in the playoffs. It's really just going to be who's going to take on the Chiefs and have the chance to take them down. One of the MVPs, whether it's my pick, Lamar Jackson, or Josh Allen, it's setting up to be quite nice. But you're right. The Chiefs getting healthy the right time. Hollywood Brown coming back. Travis Kelce kind of looked like his old self. He kind of got the feeling, Gregor, that he's just ramping himself up, right? Who cares what happens in the fall? When the weather gets cold, that's when Travis Kelce's going to be ready. 8 receptions, 84 yards, and Patrick Mahomes. I mean, if you had him in fantasy, this was a week to start him. He had 3 touchdowns. Win fatigue should have been setting in for this team. So I hate to say it. I don't know who's going to go into Arrowhead and take out the Chiefs, but I hope it happens. They look so good right now, and that defense is so strong.
Yeah, you look at games of the weekend. The Bengals obviously need to win to keep their slim playoff hopes alive. They host the Denver Broncos. That's obviously a huge game with playoff implications. You have the Rams and Arizona on the other side. Is the Rams currently 9-6? They can punch their ticket with a victory. Indianapolis still has a chance mathematically, so they're taking on the Giants. You'd think they should be able to win that game. You have Carolina and Tampa Bay. Now, Mr. Hubbard is chasing down the Ruben Mays record. He had over 1,300 rushing yards. That is the most rushing yards by a Canadian ever in NFL history. He needs 159 yards over the final 2 weeks. So basically 80 yards a game. That's something to watch for, as they will try to play spoiler. Meanwhile, Tampa Bay needs 2 wins, and then they need some help. And they could get the help this weekend because Atlanta goes into Washington to take on Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. And so if Tampa Bay wins, then they're 9-7. Atlanta would be 8-8. And then they would control their destiny. And guess who Tampa Bay has the final week of the season, Con Man? The New Orleans Saints, who, did you see their Monday night game? Oh, they were Kevin Karras. We talked about it on the show on Monday. All he needed was Green Bay not to score 35 points for their defense, but they got a shutout and they scored 36 and they lost in the semifinal. What an absolute kick in the junk. I couldn't believe it. I wasn't really even watching. Then I look at oh my God, they got a shutout here.
Yeah.
And it was, we added points, like 2 points for turnover on downs. And they had a turnover on downs, and that got him the extra 2 points that he wouldn't have had last year.
Well, and I think he said, is there a rushing total? Like if Spencer Rattler had rushed for 4 more yards or something on one play, he would have won.
Oh, yeah.
He was going through it Tuesday morning.
Oh, God, he must just be rattled, I would think. Rattled over that. So, and you also have, what about Green Bay and Minnesota? That's the game of the weekend for sure. They're both great. Now, they both have clinched the playoff spot. But Minnesota is battling. They're 13-2. Detroit's 13-2, and Packers are 13-4. Now the Packers are saying, "Hey, we could win our 2 games and still catch the Vikings." So yeah, that's a massive game. Massive game. I got to watch that one for certain. To me, that's a game to be watching later on this Sunday afternoon.
Funny too, because the only other game is the Browns Dolphins.
Yeah, they only have 2 games, right? You're right.
And who wants to watch that one?
God, no one.
Not even Browns and Dolphins fans.
No. Because now, I guess Miami still technically is alive, right?
Yeah, they would need the Broncos. Well, no, Broncos win in there, so they need the Bengals to win.
They need the Bengals to win, but then they would need so they have to beat Cleveland, which I think they could. So we'll see how it goes. So it should be great. Also coming up on the program today, Eric Stevens will be by. We'll talk some Kings and Ducks. Craig Button, Spec, Low Tide. So loaded show, Cam Tate, the 2-minute warning. And as always, we'll get your thoughts, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 in our inbox. We'll take a quick break. Colin Chalk joins us next.
3, 2, 1.
Happy New Year. Let's rock.
Edmonton's biggest New Year's Eve party is at On the Rise.
Featuring Edmonton's #1 party band,
The Barkhells. The Barkhells. Get ready to dance the night away as we ring in 2025 in style at OTR.
Tickets include a 3-course meal, party favors, and bubbly at midnight.
This party sells out every year.
Oh, and if you don't have anyone to kiss at midnight, Marco is always available.
OTR's New Year's Eve party.
Tickets at ontherockyeg.com.
My utility bills are going through the roof. How can I take advantage of the sun and put my lazy roof to work?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Energy team reporting. When you're ready to make your home or business more efficient, Action Electrical has the power to install solar panel systems and EV chargers.
Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta with supercharged skills and strong family values. ActionElectrical.net.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit edmontonexpocenter.com today.
The Boxing Week blowout is back at the Brick. Shop their extraordinary deals like 60% off sofas when you buy the matching Love Cedar chair. Save up to $2,500 off big screen TVs, up to 25% off bedroom and dining room furniture, and up to 50% off mattresses. Plus, buy more, save more. Up to an extra $300 off kitchen appliances. Some exclusions apply. See thebrick.com for details. The Brick. Save you more.
Get the latest intel before the next hockey game. It's the Cross Mitsubishi pregame show with Andrew Walker and Landon Ferraro. Before the game, join us all season long on Edmonton Sports Station, Sports 1440.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the only place to call for heating your home. So when it's time to replace your old furnace, call Legacy. Call Legacy. Or for 24-hour repair with no overtime rates. Legacy even heats your shower with hot water tank. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. And with no interest and no payments for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Hockey is back. And Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Now, all sizes of premium roast coffee at McDonald's have a new low price starting at $1 plus tax for a small. It's great if you love great tasting coffee. $1 small premium roast coffee every single day. Must be McCafe. Plus tax at participating restaurants in Canada. Excludes delivery.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab elevation models. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, you can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
We now have a post-game show on Sports 1440. After the next game, tune in to Andrew Walker as he breaks down the game with you. The post-game show brought to you by the Ridge Social Eatery, St. Albert.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Better holidays start with better ingredients, better pizza from Papa John's. Get 25% off any regular price pizza with the code word BETTER25 at papajohns.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We return. Positive Friday. It is Positive Friday. Love it. Guess what? Well, for some of you, you probably have the day off. For some of us, we got to grind through one day. I can take it one day and then boom. Weekend is going on. Best luck to all those teams in the big Confederation tournament that goes on Saturday, Sunday, Monday in Edmonton at like 12 different arenas. A huge tournament. So have a lot of fun with that for all the kids playing. And I know there's tournaments all over the place. Beaumont has one, and there's many other Christmas tournaments. The Ben Stelter Memorial Tournament is going on right now. So lots of hockey around for the kids. Be good to the refs. Have fun. Don't take it too serious. It's just a tournament. Enjoy it. And let's talk a little hockey as we get to the oil report brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton. They are Volvo's Canada's #1 Volvo dealer with 13 times Excellence Award winner in sales and service. And right now, till the end of the month, you can get the XC90 0% down on a lease for 2024 at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. As we welcome in the head coach of the Bakersfield Condors, Colin Schock, joins us. Colin, now how was Christmas in Bakersfield?
Sunny and excellent.
Oh, geez, nice. So there's no ODR time at Christmas. So what do you do that's different at Christmas for you? Like outside, I guess you're going for walks. What's happening?
Yeah, outside, a little shopping, which was awesome. Obviously, family was here, which was great, and so we laid low. Some guys, some of the players will go into LA, or there's some pretty cool places that are close to Bakersfield that they're looking for a little more excitement, so to speak. But for us, we got together with all the staff and enjoyed some food and drinks and company. And then now we're a little practice yesterday, and we're back at it today.
Well, and it's always good when you go into the holiday break on a 4-game winning streak. So that's nice. You'd won 3-2, 5-1, 2-0, and 4-2. So obviously you have to be pretty happy lately, I would think, with your overall defensive play.
Yeah, we right in before that, we had lost in overtime, and I think there was 3 third period leads that we had given up and gone out without points. So we were doing things well. We just weren't closing games out, and we're hurting ourselves. So we got some guys healthy, and like you said, we've been able to defend a little bit better, and power play scoring some goals. Special teams has been good. And, we're finding a little bit of a niche right now, but a few more guys have gone down since then, but a break for anybody. And especially when it's Christmas time, it's always nice to enjoy some friends and family, but we're thankful for the 4-game winning streak as well.
So let's talk about injuries. First of all, let's start with the good news. James Hamlin set to return.
Yes, James Hamlin set to return since I think it's 20 games he's missed. He's only played 4 or 5 games this year, so exciting for James to play. He won't play back-to-back here for a little bit, so he'll just go tonight. Okay. And let's see how. I think the biggest part is to see how he responds after the game. So excited that he's back. We're really thankful. He's a real good 200-foot player, as many Edmonton Oilers fans know.
Well, that's a big addition down the middle because you got Peterson back here recently as well. So that's like 2 of the guys you thought your top 2-3 centers to start the season, and they're back in now with Philp and Groovy. That gives you real good strength down the middle, Colin. And for most teams, strength down the middle is a big advantage.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And for most of the season, it was basically Jaden and Noah, carrying most of the load. And, you really didn't know what you were going to get from Noah, before training camp, of course, right? Because he didn't play last season. And he's been a pleasant addition, that's for sure. So, but, when you have all 4 of those guys back firing on all cylinders, you got to be strong down the middle. It gives you depth. gives you a righty-lefty tandem right on both sides, and then it also creates some internal competition too.
Yeah. Head coach of the Condors, Colin Chalk, joins us. So, Colin, with Hamlin coming back, who's he playing with tonight?
Tonight he's playing with Berglund and Stefan, James Stefan on the right side. So, we'll see how those guys fit, and then I think once he gets back into a regular rotation, I think we'll see some different line mates. But I mean, we've had so many injuries. It's I think there's one thing I ask for Christmas or the New Year is just for a healthy Condor squad.
Right. Now, you mentioned other injuries. So with Hamlin coming back, what's the bad news? Who's out?
We got Josh Brown returned from Edmonton yesterday to see some family, and he's sick, really not good at all. So he probably won't play the weekend. So he didn't skate yesterday or today. He's out. Warner is still injured with just not feeling quite right. So I don't know if it's concussion-like symptoms, but he was sick before. We got Gervonta still out. Who else am I missing here? I know those three for sure. I think I'm missing one more, so I'm on the tip of my tongue. But those are the guys that I'm hitting on the head right now.
Okay, so as your forward group gets healthier, your defensive group is getting nicked up. But hopefully with Brown, it's just an illness, and then he's out a few days, and then he'll be back. What's the timeline on Max Warner?
No timeline right now on Warner. Came back from the Christmas holidays and just said he wasn't feeling good, so they ran some tests and that kind of stuff, and they're just waiting back. And initially, him and Ethan DeJong had pneumonia actually, so I missed Ethan there, but he's feeling much better now. But Warner's still unsure.
Oh man, that's not good. Pneumonia is no joke for sure. Now with all of this, the one guy who's really started to heat up, it's only his second year of a pro here, but Matvei Petrov has really started to light the lamp.
Yeah, he's I believe it's the second longest goal scoring streak in Condors history, so pretty cool. And that line of Grube and Cameron Wright put together before the Toronto weekend, they've been really hot. So it's kind of, that's part of the, when Hamlin comes back in the fold, those, the Savoy Kajula line has been good. Those other lines they're finding a little bit of chemistry that we've had a little bit of momentum to keep some people together. So those guys, Petrov, Jaden and Cameron have been really well together. So we're excited to do it again tonight.
What are you seeing from Petrov, Colin? Is it just a guy maybe getting a little bit more maturity, understanding the league a bit more?
I there's a little bit of that, also, I would say last year, the biggest thing that he learned is to learn how to play without the puck, right? He's always been bigger, smarter, more skilled than anybody ever played with, right? And it's hard in your first year in the American League. So I would say this year he didn't have a great summer because of his injury. And, it took him really quite some time to get up to speed. So one, recovering from that injury, we saw that, with Rafi Lavoie 2 years ago and Justin Bailey, they weren't really great until around Christmas time. So I think that has something to do with it. And then the confidence too, right? Eventually at some point you say to yourself, like, all these guys I'm playing against, I played against them at some point in my career. I can do it. That internal belief, the coach is also instilling some confidence and making sure they're getting minutes to perform. That's a combination of things, but he's getting a little bit of luck too, right? And that's sometimes you don't get bounces. He's going to the hard areas. He's playing confident. He's patient with the puck, and it's really working for him. So he's got momentum, and we got to try to get him to ride that as long as he can. And we understand you're not going to stay that hot all the time, and fight like hell to get it back.
So 5 games is the second longest goal scoring streak in Condors history. Do you know what the longest is?
I do not. I do not know what the longest one. We have to get Ryan Holt on.
Well, you're gonna have to get Holt when you threw that out there. I was like, ooh, I like it. So 6 goals in 5 games for Petrov, and that's like confidence is a big factor for sure, Colin. But you mentioned, and I think it's a really good point that for a lot of these players, they've never really had adversity in the sense of, they've always been the top player, the second best player, at least, for a long stretch of their careers. And when you don't have success right away, a lot of them really struggle on how to push through and realize that I can still be a good contributing player even if I'm not putting up points. That's a real tough kind of change in mindset for a lot of offensive players.
It really is, and then, it's all the external factors too, right? Like their parents, their friends, their agent, you're like, hey, what's going on? Or, hey, how come this, all those, it just, and then it's your own you versus you, right? Your own battle, your own self-doubt. I mean, let's be honest, everybody has that at some point in their day or their week, that second guessing, and then it just snowballs. And, it's just so important to, for the coaches to help the player just redirect himself and the player as well, but like you said, to go back to how you started, was all of the players in the American Hockey League were probably the best player on their team in minor bantam or in midget or in college or top three. And now they're all alphas and they're all here, and right. They're trying to, they're figuring out where they fit. And that's why, it's called the ELC, entry level contract. They got 3 years to try to navigate through that and figure it out. It's not how quick you get there. It's how long you stay. I know it's a cliche, but there's a lot of true meaning to it.
Oh, 100%. Colin Jock, head coach of the Bakersfield Condors. They play tonight and tomorrow, winners of 4 in a row. Oiler fans are always curious about Matty Savoy and how he's doing. What have you liked from him maybe in the month of December?
You know what? Like Matt's finishing a little bit more, and that goes back to playing with some veteran players and Lane Peterson and Drake Kajula that are finally healthy and in game shape. And I don't mean that they're out of shape. I just mean when they're getting called up to Edmonton, their role's a little different. Yeah. Or when they're travel back and forth, or Lane's been injured, and right. So, Matt was getting opportunity, but he wasn't playing with as much as offensive minded players, and then he wasn't finishing. And we know that because we track his 5-on-5 secondary and primary scoring chances for and against, right? So he was doing the right things. He wasn't necessarily getting rewarded, and he's only 20 years old as well, right? So, right now I believe he's tops in the league as far as, players his age scoring,
okay.
And he's finishing, right? And his work ethic, his will and his grit, his coachability, all of those things, we're seeing improvements. And we're seeing him really enjoying being part of the organization. Obviously, he's new to the organization. It took some a little bit of time for all the coaches to get to know him, and so how far he can go. I think that's everyone's yet to know. But he's at a point that I believe he's on pace to score 20+ goals, and he's playing power play, penalty kill, all in top areas, and learning to play without the puck as well. Because when you get up there, he may or may not play in a top 6 role. I don't know, but it's important that if he does get up there for the big club, he's got to be able to play without the puck and be responsible for Chris Knobloch. That's for sure.
Colin Jock joins us, head coach of the Condors, and you know what you mentioned, just the learning about the pro game, and I'm a big proponent of it, that it's much harder than people think. And I don't care how good of a junior player you were, unless you're McDavid and a few other guys, it's usually there's time in the American League, and it's not a bad thing. Noah Philp is someone who, I think if we look at the depth chart right now, when you've got McDavid and Draisaitl, everybody knows the top 2 center spots are locked in for a long time. So if you're going to be a center in the organization, third, fourth line right now with Adam Henrique here, that would be the option. And so good on penalty kill, good in your defensive zone, reliable win faceoffs. When you're talking to a guy like Philp, who down in the American League is an offensive player, obviously, but you still have him in all those roles. How's his consistency being, Colin? Because that's obviously maybe one of the deciding factors for a bottom 6 guy is his consistency.
Yeah, I would say after he got sent back after his first NHL call up, he struggled with finding his game again, but wasn't due to lack of effort or that kind of stuff, but it's the mental side of things of becoming an NHL player and then not, say, right, for example, right? So the consistency has gotten better. I will say that that's something that Noah has to improve on. Is he big? Yes. Is he strong? Yes. Does he shoot the puck well? Does he skate fast? Is he tough? We fought Gersten and Henderson standing up for one of our teammates. There's all sorts of those things. He's playing power plays, playing penalty kill. He's taking big face-offs on the right side, which everyone knows we need a big right shot centerman in Edmonton. Or really, what team doesn't need a big, 6'3" right shot centerman face-offs on the penalty kill, right? So, Noah. I think Noah is definitely building a case for himself to do that, right? So. And not playing, playing hockey not playing or playing hockey 2 of the last 4 years, however you want to look at it. That's not an easy thing to do, right? You take your job, you didn't work for, take a year off. It's hard to
100%.
go through the. That makes he he had a great training camp. It was awesome. We slated him up. He started as our first line center in Bakersfield, and then going through the rigors of the day to day is hard. And that's challenging for him. And that's something that, we talk with him about with the development team and Vinny Moulson, mental performance coach and all that stuff. And that's our job to help him. But, he's considering the story of this young man is pretty awesome, really, what's going on. And for him to be jockeying for a job in the National Hockey League, I think he's got to be pretty proud. And I think the Oilers should be pretty proud as well.
Yeah, very well said. Our boy Ryan Holt was listening. Josh Curry, shocker, 9 games is the longest goal scoring streak. Just as a coach, if you get to 8 or 9, something for Petrov. So now it's Josh Curry had 9 in a row from Holter. So
well done, Holty. I'll tell you, that guy's a spark plug, man.
He's on it. He's on this. He's on it all the time. Well, call him. Best of luck tonight and tomorrow. Keep the winning streak going, and hope the sick guys and Warner and Brown aren't too sick. And we'll get back to you guys very soon in the new year. Appreciate your time.
Awesome. Thanks, Jason. Have a good day.
Here you go. That's Colin Chalk, head coach of the Condors. Shout out to Ryan Holt, who's listening and sent that into to the Con Man. So Josh Curry, the franchise record 9 consecutive games with a goal. And Matvei Petrov has 5 games straight with a goal, has 6 goals in those 5 games. And you know what? I'll tell you, there's a guy who went into the Christmas break. He can't wait to get back on the ice. That's just how it is. When you're rolling like that, you enjoy the time off, but man, I'd love to talk to him. I guarantee you, he would have spent a little bit more time, somewhere in his holiday break. He's shooting pucks, he's doing something, because when you're that hot, you want to keep hot. And he has a chance to help the Condors, of course, because they're back in action tonight, taking on who are they taking on? The Firebirds, yeah, and then they got the Gulls tomorrow. So should be good back-to-back nights for the Bakersfield Condors. Just like the Edmonton Oilers will go back-to-back tomorrow afternoon at 2:00, and then Sunday afternoon at I think they're both 2:00 games. Let me double. Yeah, they are both 2:00 games in LA and Anaheim. Often you don't even change your hotel. You stay in the hotel and then they'll bus it to Anaheim. No big deal. Quick break. We will return. That was the Oil Report brought to you by Volvo Cars. Edmonton will come back. NFL for some of you. How many of you are in the final of your fantasy football? Good luck. Hopefully. Now, maybe you got off to a really good start. It was weird because the week's already started. 2 games on Wednesday and 1 on Thursday. It's kind of weird, though, that your final is in when it starts on Christmas Day on a Wednesday. But I'm sure if you're in the final, you're pretty fired up. So good luck. We'll talk NFL next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
In 1973, deep in the basement of an Edmonton family home, an elite team of specialized forces came together to form Action Electrical.
Action Electrical Divisions assemble.
Projects team reporting.
Service team reporting.
Testing team reporting.
Energy team reporting.
Supercharged with skills in their electrical fields and grounded by strong family values. Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
New year, new you. Let's kickstart 2025 by making better life choices, starting with quality pizza from Papa John's. Right now, get 25% off any regular menu price pizza with promo code BETTER25. A deal so good, it might just count as self-care. But hurry, resolutions wait for no one. Offer ends January 5th. Order now at papajohns.ca with promo code BETTER25. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some Papa John's.
A bedtime story by Zachary Martin Hyman.
The hockey game's over. The Zamboni sleeps soon. I lay down in comfort. Legacy heating my room. Good night to you, furnace, with your hot blower running. Good night to you, air vents, keeping the warm air coming. Good night to my payments that I won't see for 1 year. Good night to my legacy. Bedtime is near.
Warm winter nights. That's how you soothe your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches. We provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
You don't know what awaits you on the road to come, but with the 2025 XC90 from Volvo of Edmonton, you'll have the versatility to take on whatever life throws at you. The new XC90, a luxurious SUV with seating for up to 7, boasts newly upgraded body and wheel design. It's the perfect choice to drive into the coming year. And right now, you'll save $4,500 and lease from 1.49% on all in-stock 2025 XC90s. Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, 1205 101 Street Southwest.
For half a century, that's 50 years, GS Construction has been building the foundation of Edmonton and the surrounding area's infrastructure. But let's make one thing clear. This milestone would never be achieved without the dedication of our incredible team. Together, we've built the underground infrastructure that keeps things running smoothly, from the existing to the new underground systems. It's 50 years of hard work the team has put in to make it all possible. Here's to another 50 years. For more on our team and our work, visit gsconstruction.ca.
The holiday break was made for Oil Kings Hockey at Rogers Place. Family fun that's second to none, starting at just $20 a seat.
This Family Fun Sunday in Ice District, your Edmonton Oil Kings face the Red Deer Rebels for the first ever Dino Day.
Enjoy the kids' fun zone with face painting and bouncy castles. Plus, dinosaurs will be roaming the concourse all game and playing games at intermissions.
And at every home game, score Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less. The value is T-Rex sized.
Edmonton Oil Kings, Red Deer Rebels, Dino Day, 4 p.m. Sunday.
Save on day of game pricing now at oilkings.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Watch every Oilers game at OTR with $5.25 Molson Canadian, $5 Frank Whitney shots, and 60-cent wings. Plus, play Oilers Score and Win for your chance to win On the Rocks gift cards. Oilers Hockey at OTR. Book your table today. Jasper Ave and 118.
Look good, feel good, play good. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for listening to Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
247. Positive Friday. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas. Hey, you know, it's a positive Friday for Mackenzie Blackwood. 5-year contract extension for a $26.25 million for the newest goaltender for the Colorado Avalanche. So obviously they're pretty high on him. Lock him up for 5 years. When he's on, he's pretty good. No question. Can he stay healthy? That's really the one major challenge for him is, can he stay healthy? So we'll see if he does. Let's get to our football report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home to no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Stay warm all winter. LegacyHeating.ca. As week 17 has already begun. 2 games on Christmas, and then, of course, one yesterday, and then they got games Saturday and Sunday. Miles Simmons from NBC Pro Football Talk joins us. Miles, good afternoon. I hope you had a great Christmas. How you doing?
Doing well, and back at you. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, and all that good stuff.
So the NFL, they play on Christmas this year. Now, they played on Christmas before, but never on a Wednesday. Obviously, they're putting some competition against the NFL. No surprise, they had good numbers. Some say maybe it'd be better if it was on a network, but whatever. To me, it wasn't where the game was broadcast. It was the fact that it was the Chiefs' 3rd game in 11 days. They showed zero signs of fatigue, spanked the Steelers, and as Andy Reid dresses up as Santa Claus, announces that for Christmas, you guys are getting home field advantage in the AFC. Like, what a performance here the last few weeks for the Chiefs. I know they were winning just by enough early on, but man, they seem to be amping up their game again when it matters most.
It's for sure. And I think, when you've won the last 2 Super Bowls, you don't usually tend to have a team, improve their record. And that's really something that the Chiefs have been able to do. I think it's been really impressive. You just look at last year, the way they played on Christmas Day. They were at home. They were playing the Raiders and really peed down their leg, right? I mean, they lost to a team that didn't complete a pass after the first quarter. So that tells you, you can go on and win the Super Bowl that way, but also it's probably a little bit better when you start to play your best football in December. And that's really what the Chiefs have been doing. And they've beaten now 2 playoff teams, right? We know that the Texans, they're reeling a little bit, but they still won the AFC South. It's a team that the Chiefs conceivably could play, in that divisional round, that they will host a playoff game in Kansas City, and then they beat the Steelers, another team, again, that they conceivably could play as their first playoff game this year. So they're in a really good spot at this point to at least be in the AFC Championship game. And as we know, look, Patrick Mahomes in his years of starting since 2018, they have not finished worse than overtime of the AFC Championship game. And it certainly looks like we're on track to see something like that again.
Yeah, no, hey, they look really good. The Bills and the Ravens, if they take care of business, will likely have to meet each other in the second round of the playoffs. And which of those 2 teams do you like better?
It's tough. Because both of those quarterbacks are just so darn good. You can take your pick if you want Josh Allen as MVP or if you want Lamar Jackson as MVP. And, how can you really argue against either one of those guys based on what they've been doing? Lamar Jackson obviously won MVP last year, and he's had an even better season this year. And with Josh Allen, he's just been doing things that we really have never seen before. And he's stepped up so much in those critical moments. And the Bills are the only ones to hand the Chiefs an actual loss so far this year. So, I guess from that standpoint, I like the Bills a little bit better. Just because the Ravens have had some interesting lapses, right? 2 of their losses this year have come to the Browns, who are awful, and the Raiders, who are also awful. And at least with the Bills, they lost to the Texans earlier this year. You haven't necessarily seen those kinds of terrible, terrible lapses with that football team as you have with the Ravens this year. But, that being said, either one of those guys leading their teams, whether it's Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen, they can come out and play like a house of fire. And if we do see chalk, right, in the postseason and we get to see that matchup in the divisional round, it should be a very, very, very fun matchup because both of those guys are capable of doing so much.
Miles, it's a great debate for the MVP, Allen or Lamar. Both have great numbers. When you look at all the numbers and everything else, is there one that you favor over the other at this point?
I would favor Josh Allen just because, and maybe I'm one of the victims of Lamar Jackson fatigue, but I do think that when you look at the way that Josh Allen has played over the course of the season, the losses that the Bills have had, right? We're talking about teams that, they lost to the Ravens early on in September, and then they lost the next week to the Houston Texans. And at that point, we're kind of like, I don't know, what are the Bills really going to do? And they've just gone on to kind of bludgeon teams. And the only loss that they've had since then was to the Los Angeles Rams a couple weeks ago at SoFi Stadium. And even then, Josh Allen was scoring 6 touchdowns, which is just, again, not something you see very often. So that's why I would say Josh Allen over Lamar Jackson, because in certain games, right, like I was just saying, Lamar Jackson has lost to the Browns this year, to the Raiders this year, and that's where the difference is.
Okay. Looking at the NFC, you got the Lions, you got the Vikings, you got the Eagles. Now, Jalen Hurts sounds like he's not going to play for the Eagles this weekend. First place seems like it's out of touch anyway. So that, it's either they're going to get the 2nd seed or the 3rd seed, and which would matter in the second round. But how much do you think that injury hurts Philly? Although maybe it won't matter because Minnesota's got a pretty tough game against the Packers.
Yeah, it's interesting because at this point, you would think that the Lions and Vikings are probably going to be duking out for the number 1 seed in Week 18. However, I mean, the Packers are playing very, very well. Jordan Love turns it up, in the end of the season. He's just done that over the course of his career. Matt LaFleur also did a really good job of coaching in December and January. So that's going to be a really interesting game on Sunday this week between those two teams. Because, look, I mean, I think it's probably going to be one of the NFC North teams representing the NFC in the Super Bowl. And that's no disrespect to Philadelphia. But, I mean, you've got the Lions, who have been playing great all year despite all the injuries. You've got Minnesota, who honestly has been playing just as good as anybody, and they've only really lost to Detroit. So, I mean, that's one of those things where you look at it and you say, okay, well, how much better can they really be? And the answer is not very much. And Green Bay, they've been beating pretty much everybody else but Detroit and Minnesota. So I look at it that way, and I just see those three teams where it's one of them that's going to end up representing the NFC. But that being said, if you're Philadelphia and you've got such a great run game and their defense has been getting better and better and better over the course of the year, those are things that do usually translate to postseason football. So I think it will be, it's not the biggest deal in the world that Jalen Hurts is going to be unavailable for this particular game this weekend, because the Philadelphia Eagles have secured, the NFC East. They are all but certain to be the number 2 seed, so from that standpoint, I think they're still going to be okay.
Okay. You look at the Lions and all their injuries, that they're really good. Like, KC seems to be the team to beat in the AFC. I don't know. I don't think there is one, although if they were healthy, it would be Detroit for me. But do you think the Lions can overcome all these injuries and win the Super Bowl?
I don't. Because at a certain point, the injuries do just catch up with you. And the other issue that they have is that Jared Goff, I think, is a very good quarterback, but he is not one of those guys that can oftentimes make plays out of structure for you. When the thing that's called, it's just not going right, and then you need your quarterback to be special and to make a play. If you look at Jared Goff's history, and this goes back to his time in Los Angeles, and it's one of the things that I think helped San Francisco beat Detroit in the NFC Championship game last year. If you get Jared Goff off his spot, if you are really pressuring him, then that's going to be something that messes things up. And, Amon-Ra St. Brown, terrific player. Penei Sewell, if we were considering guys on the offensive line for like Offensive Player of the Year, MVP, he's another one of those dudes that you would talk about. But I think that Goff is not necessarily good enough to make up for all the other things that are going on around you. Whereas, if you look at the AFC, right? Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, of course, those three guys, when things go wrong, they're going to figure out a way to make it right. Jared Goff doesn't necessarily have that kind of elite ability, and I think that's the difference.
Miles, looking at as Miles Simmons joins us from NBC's Pro Football Talk, you look down the stretch here, and the Washington Commanders and young Jaden Daniels, and just how much of a threat in a one-game playoff he presents to teams, and how, getting the number 2 seed might not be that much of an advantage, because then you got to face him. Although, it could be either Green Bay, so maybe that's not much better either. But there's just something about Daniels right now, man, that he's a pretty special young player. I know he's only a rookie, but he kind of has a little bit of CJ Stroud first-year success written all over him.
Oh yeah, he's got the juice. He really does. But I think when you think about that, when CJ Stroud going into the playoffs, they played the Browns last year in that first round, and the Browns they kind of ran out of steam, right? And whatever their game plan was, it did not work. Then you go to Baltimore in the divisional round, and it's like, I'm facing the big boys now, right? And that's going to be something that because the Eagles are more than likely going to win that division, it's going to be something that Daniels has got to do right off the bat. Go on the road and see the difference in playoff football. And if it does end up being, the 2-7 matchup where it's Philadelphia versus Washington, that's going to be even a little bit different than what Washington just faced with the Eagles last week. I mean, everything ratchets up. And the fact that Philadelphia has so much postseason experience from over the last few years, that's going to make the significant difference. Or, they could be the 6th seed if things work out that way, because Green Bay loses, blah, 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 Washington keeps winning. and they have to go to Los Angeles, right? And they end up playing the Los Angeles Rams. That's another thing where, it's a little bit more difficult because you're playing such a veteran guy in Matthew Stafford, who understands what the postseason is going to be. And the Rams defense has its holes, and so he would make it difficult on him for sure. But also Sean McVay has all of that postseason coaching experience as well. So I don't want to say it's going to be a rude awakening, because Jane Daniels has ticked off every single box basically at every single turn. And I don't want to take anything away from his rookie year because he's been great. But playoff football is different, and not having that experience does often make a difference for a young QB.
Is he your obvious rookie of the year?
I think so, yeah. And it's because he has continued to make those plays. I think he really solidified it last week, bringing Washington back, winning that game in the manner that they did. Bo Nix was also really, I think, in that mix. And if the Broncos had been able to go to Los Angeles, win that game that they played on Thursday night, whenever that was, in the last couple of weeks, there's just been so many games and so many different days, I almost don't even know what it was. But if they had been able to do that, then Bo Nix would have a little bit better of an argument. But Brock Bowers is a guy that you want to just give an honorable mention to because he's doing something completely historic.
Oh, yeah.
And what he's doing at tight end, setting the records for catches and yards and all these different things. I mean, it's ridiculous what he's doing, and he's already an elite player. But, when the Raiders are 3-12, it's very difficult to give that player that award. So, yes, I think it's going to be Jane Daniels.
Lastly, the Bengals and the Broncos. Obviously the Bengals have to win to give themselves a chance in the final weekend. Do you see anybody other than the Chargers or Broncos getting those final two playoff berths?
I really do think that the Bengals could do it, but then that also means that they have to jump Indianapolis and jump Miami. And, it's one of those things where you use the phrase, it's a team that nobody really wants to see in the postseason. And I believe that that's true. But the other thing about it is that they're going to be playing kind of a ticked off Steelers team next week. And because of the Baltimore and Pittsburgh both are going to have a chance at that division. Baltimore is going to be playing Cleveland. So even though Cleveland won the last time, I don't really anticipate that happening in a second. But the Steelers are going to be motivated to win that game. So that makes it that much more difficult for Cincinnati to do it. But you talk about guys who have had terrific seasons. I mean, that's Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase as well. I mean, Jamar Chase should have a really good argument for Offensive Player of the Year. But you also have Saquon Barkley, right? So I don't know that he's going to be able to get that. But, I mean, if you're leading the league in catches, in yards, and in touchdowns as Jamar Chase is, he deserves a lot of praise for that. And if it so happens, I believe, that the Bengals make it to the postseason, then that also vaults Joe Burrow into the MVP conversation because he really has had a terrific season. But when you're 7-8, instead of 12-3 or 11-5 even, you're not really going to be a part of those conversations.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Miles, great stuff, man. Enjoy the weekend and all the best in 2025. Happy New Year.
All right, same to you. Happy New Year.
There you go. That breakdown of the NFL with Miles Simmons from NBC's Pro Football Talk. We'll return. We got lots of hockey talk. Oilers back-to-back this weekend. 2:00 starts both days, Saturday and Sunday. The Kings and the Ducks. We'll kind of remind you, the Oilers, you know what? They've been off. Haven't played since Sunday, but they've been very good. There's only one team better than them lately. That's their problem. We'll tell you who it is after a Connor Halley Sports 1440 update brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. The Canada-wide clearance is on now at GMC. You can get a $7,500 cash credit on a 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Elevation. See more at gmcoffers.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
8 games on the ice tonight in the NHL. You got the Sabres, Hawks, Leafs in Detroit. Devils host the Canes. Bruins taking on the Blue Jackets. Preds and St. Louis Blues. Stars host the Wild, Avs in Utah, and the Sharks taking on the Golden Knights. The Oilers talk today. They'll be in action tomorrow, 2:00, taking on the Kings. Pre-game coverage here on Sports 1440 gets going at 1. World Junior action earlier today. Slovakia knocked off Switzerland 2-1. Right now, Finland leads Germany 2-1 in the second. Later today, you got Sweden and Kazakhstan at 3. Then at 5:30, Canada taking on Latvia in the association. Knicks meet the Magic. The Celtics taking on the Pacers. Spurs are in Brooklyn. Nuggets up against the Cavs. Mavs travel to the desert taking on the Suns. And the Clippers hosting Steph and the Warriors. College football. The Birmingham Bowl. Vanderbilt leads Georgia Tech 14-10. Later today, you got Arkansas, Texas Tech, number 21 Syracuse battles Washington State, and Texas A&M up against USC in the Las Vegas Bowl earlier today. Navy knocks off Oklahoma 21-20. WHL, Oil Kings back in action. First game after the Christmas break. They'll take on the Rebels down in Red Deer. Puck drop at 7. The rematch goes Sunday, 4 o'clock at Rogers Place. And PWHL, Hillary Knight and the Boston Fleet in Toronto taking on Sarah Nurse and the Scepters. That gets going just after 5 o'clock. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Eric Stevens of The Athletic, talk some Kings and Ducks, and hear another edition of Cam Tate's 2-Minute Warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been the Sports 1440 Update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Mr. Rooter decorates a gingerbread house.
Wow. What did you do here, Mr. Rooter?
Well, we've got a Jube Jube toilet, complete with an icing-based wax seal. The main water line is licorice, red for hot, black for cold. You got your standard marshmallow hot water tank and a candy cane sewer line. And on the outside, candy corn hose pips. Disgusting, but they get the job done.
To have your Yule clogs fixed, trust one plumber, Mr. Rooter.
New year, new you. Let's kickstart 2025 by making better life choices, starting with quality pizza from Papa John's. Right now, get 25% off any regular menu price pizza with promo code BETTER25. A deal so good, it might just count as self-care. But hurry, resolutions wait for no one. Offer ends January 5th. Order now at papajohns.ca with promo code BETTER25. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some Papa John's.
Today on Hey Culligan, how smart is your water? Here's Tracy.
Hey, Culligan. I think my water might be dumb.
Good news, Tracy. Your water's not dumb. It's just not talking to you.
You can make my water talk.
No, but the new Culligan Smart Drinking Water System can talk to your phone to tell you when your water filters need changing and help you meet drinking water goals.
Now that's some brilliant H2O.
You said it, Tracy, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at culligan.ca.
We now have a post-game show on Sports 1440. After the next game, tune in to Andrew Walker as he breaks down the game with you. The post-game show brought to you by the Ridge Social Eatery, St. Albert.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantor, proudly delivering world-class hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada since 2016. I'm thrilled to announce our in-house production of tool components and accessories for faster turnarounds and enhanced versatility. The future is here at Cantor.com.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the only place to call for heating your home. So when it's time to replace your old furnace, call Legacy. Or for 24-hour repair with no overtime rates. Legacy even heats your shower with hot water tank. Call Legacy. And with no interest and no payments for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe in the wisdom of Patch Adams. Treat a disease, you win, you lose. Treat a person, I guarantee you'll win no matter what the outcome. We don't treat conditions, we treat people. From personalized treatment plans to compassionate care, we're committed to helping you achieve your goal. That's why hands-on techniques, unique technologies, and a commitment to hiring amazing people mixed with friendly, fun neighborhood environments. And ta-da! No, it's not magic. It's about being human. Sometimes being human hurts, but life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Delicious news. The McDonald's meals you love are now $9.99 every day. Grab your faves like the Big Mac, 6-piece McNugget, McChicken, or Filet-O-Fish with medium fries and a medium fountain drink for $9.99 each plus tax. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Edmonton, Alberta, and the surrounding area, prices exclude delivery.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab elevation models. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine. You can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at Cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 3 o'clock. Welcome back, Gregor Show. Connor Halley is presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Use the promo code Gregor50 to get a free $50 play at PlayAlberta.ca. No Kaprizov tonight for the Minnesota Wild. Also, Vegas is in San Jose. No Jake Wallman, the top defender for the San Jose Sharks. Also, man, sports world can be ruthless sometimes. So Mike Brown ran practice today. Then he addressed the media, and then afterwards got fired. They're 0-5 in their last on this. They had a 5-game homestand, and they're 0-5. He had just been extended for 2 more years this past July, and now he is out as a head coach of the Sacramento Kings. So life does come at you fast in the NBA. That usually, if you're making a coaching change, you don't have them run a practice, then talk to the media, and then axe them. Seems a bit odd, but they've lost 5 in a row and have kind of fallen out of the race for the playoffs. Is basically why they're probably saying, "Hey, we want to salvage our season. We're only 2 games behind Golden State and Minnesota." So we'll see. No announcement yet, Cons, on who's going to be the head coach replacing Mike Brown, but that is I don't see that very often.
Yeah, very weird. You think once you wrap up practice, speak to the media, okay, let's maybe watch some film, grab some lunch, whatever it might be, and then you're gone. I wonder if there's anyone on the coaching staff that has experience, or is there anyone out there? I don't know, maybe Declan's the guy to ask if there's any coach right now out there that you bring in and can right the ship immediately.
Well, no one. Let's be honest. I don't believe you can just right the ship by some magic thing. Speaking of righting the ship, if you missed it, Todd McClellan, former Oilers head coach, he's the head coach now of the Detroit Red Wings. As he was announced yesterday, he'll be taking over in Detroit as they host Toronto tonight. So he'll go with Cam Talbot, who he coached in Edmonton, coached in LA. What did you make of the McClellan hiring in Detroit? Now, keep in mind, he started his coaching career as an assistant in Detroit. And Steve Yzerman was the captain the first year Todd McClellan was the coach, as assistant coach. And then, of course, went over to San Jose, had great success there. Was in Edmonton and then LA. What do you make of McClellan going into Detroit?
I like it. I mean, I feel like he's had success. Now, he hasn't had immense playoff success, right? But he gets his teams there. For a team that needs to really get things going and get into the playoffs under the Yzer plan, I kind of like it, Gregor. Like, I think he's a good hockey coach. I think we saw that at his time in Edmonton. Helped get this team closer to where they want to be. Is he the guy that's going to be there in 3, 4, 5 years? I don't think so. I don't know if I always necessarily love this style. Didn't love watching the Kings play for a while.
Oh, God, it was awful.
But
absolutely awful.
Yeah, for a team that maybe needs someone, a good coach, I think it's a good hire. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Steve Yzerman, he wanted a veteran guy that, they went with a younger guy in Lalonde. So I thought he'd hire a veteran coach, brings in Trent Yanni, who's been with him in other stops. The one guy I'd love to know why Todd Nelson can't get a head coaching job in the NHL. Being an assistant coach, all he does is win, and it doesn't matter which organization he coaches in the American League, he wins. And I'm not just talking winning games, I'm talking winning championships. Like, I don't get it. So, Detroit probably doesn't make sense for him because I could see how Steve Yzerman wanted he went with a young guy in Lalonde and it didn't work out. So he looks and says, geez, I don't know how many more chances I'm going to get here. So I'm going to go with a veteran. And so I understand that. And I think Todd will be just fine, but I'm not sure I don't think this season is salvageable. Let's be honest. They're not making the playoffs. So it's a matter of, can he help them build some foundation to their game so that next season they're not in the exact same position they are now. That's honestly what I think Todd's job is to build the foundational pieces so they can actually compete for a playoff spot, because guess what? They're not competing for a playoff spot this year. No chance. It's done. It's over. They're not making the playoffs.
Would Todd Nelson need permission from the Capitals? That's where he is, right? With the
you're under contract with the organization.
He was obviously allowed to leave the Rangers organization.
Well, it's rare that a team would stop a guy from being a head. And actually, most coaches, I think, have an out clause.
Okay.
Right. So, you still say, hey, guys, because what if the team's like, well, geez, we don't want to lose you. Right. And that's actually happened. It's rare. But you've seen some teams say, we don't want to lose the guy. So they would make a change in their own organization. Right. Or tell them quietly, hey, we want to keep you here. Our guys, we'll move you up and whatever. Right. Those conversations I've had. It's rare. But usually, no. If there's another team looking for a guy in the American League to get into the NHL, they don't hold him back, nor should they hold him back.
Just looking at Todd Nelson, I think as a head coach, he's only missed the playoffs once.
Dude.
With the Oilers. He wasn't making the playoffs with that team.
Yeah, obviously. But Todd Nelson also, when he took over, the team was terrible.
That wasn't going to happen. Yeah. But everywhere else he goes, he makes the playoffs and he eventually wins.
Yeah, like how many? What has he got? 3 championships?
If you go back to the UHL, he has 5. He's won the last 2 AHL championships. He won one in 2016, 2017 with the Red Wings organization. Then Muskegon Fury of the UHL, he went back to back as well.
Yeah, like I honestly, I don't get it. Like, what are we waiting for here? I don't understand it. So, Todd Nelson should get a shot as an NHL head coach at some point. What else does he have to do? Right? Like he was an assistant in the NHL, but he's like, no, I want to be a head coach. So he went back, which is what you should do. It's rare to get promoted directly from an assistant coach in one organization to a head coach elsewhere. That doesn't happen very often. So to me, he's doing all the right things, and he's not even like, it's not even like, okay, I could see if maybe he went somewhere and he just, was a total failure, but that doesn't mean the case. So I don't know. Like, I've heard rumblings that, well, he didn't interview very well. Well, what the hell does that mean? Like, how bad can you interview? Like, I would look and say, well, geez, maybe this guy isn't a great interview, but at the end of the day, his teams have success. It can't just be a fluke. And it's in different organizations. It's not just one where he's having success cons. That's what I don't get at all. So, hey guys, why is Jay Woodcroft not back in the show? From Antoine. A good question. I think there's a few things. I think he had a team that was very good. I think, honestly, some of his decisions in the playoffs against Vegas, when he looked like scared to play McDavid head-to-head against Jack Eichel, I think some people were like, that's a little odd. The penalty kill was never great under him. So I think, rightly or wrongly, there's an impression that Woodcroft came like, he knew lots, and I don't discount that he does. And I'm not saying it's a fair suggestion, but there's that in the NHL circles, right? So I expect that he will get another opportunity, and I expect that he'll be a better coach for it. Just like rookie players in year 4 or 5 are better. Jay Woodcroft in his second head coaching job. Now, and I know he was in the NHL as an assistant, but it's different being the head coach and being an assistant coach. Jay talked about it. Every coach has talked about it. It's different, right? Like the buck stops with you. You control lots of practice time, everything else. So sometimes when you don't have success on a good team, people are like, well, hey, wait a sec. In a weird way, I think Chris Knobloch's success hurt Jay Woodcroft, even though it has nothing to do with him. But they look and say, well, they came in because guess what? Paul Coffey wasn't here. Jay Woodcroft didn't have Paul Coffey. And Paul Coffey's really helped the blue line. And it's not like Jay Manson didn't help the blue line, because I remember Ekholm talking about the importance of the things that they built. And Woodcroft built some things, Manson built some things. But perception is that the Oilers are a better team now. And so fairly or unfairly, that's going to look negatively on him. All right. Jay's a really young guy. Like, he's been around the NHL, but I think he's open to understanding that there's different ways to coach. Like X and O's are X and O's. He knows the X and O game. That I don't think is an issue. It's learning the other elements of it. Right. And so we'll see. I'm always a big believer in guys getting other opportunities. So I hope he gets one. And he'll be better. I would assume that he would be better off when he gets it because of what he learned as the head coach in Edmonton. Like, I always love guys if they could just be downright honest with you. And I get they don't want to say everything. But just say, here's what I did right. Here's what I learned that I would like to do different. Right? And even if you do something different, it doesn't guarantee you success. Like if Jay Woodcroft, oh, you know what? I'm going to play McDavid against Cycle. That doesn't mean they would have won at all. Doesn't mean they would have won. But there's just some things that you can do different as a coach. Hey, guys, I watched Woodcroft on the sheet with Merrick. It sounds like he's wanting to take time to travel and learn more about coaching in a philosophical way, be more rounded mentally in different situations. Well, yeah. Hey, there's one thing he learned. I think at times, Jay Woodcroft, as a younger coach, he reverted to, he wanted to give McDavid, he felt if McDavid and Draisaitl are on the ice, it increases my chances of winning, which is true. But if it's to a point where it's detrimental to the rest of the team, right? What's the number one thing Knobloch did when he came in? You don't see McDavid and Draisaitl on the penalty kill anymore. Obviously there's a few seconds here or there, but they're not on the penalty kill. And they're not worse off for it. Right? They're best. Like, why play them there? Because they're doing it. Not that they can't do it, but it doesn't help your team because now your bottom six guys don't get ice time. And then when your bottom five doesn't get penalty kill time and they sit for longer stretches, then it's harder to be a contributor 5-on-5. So that's where I see it with him. When we come back, Aaron Stevens will join us. Oilers in LA and Anaheim, and Stevens covers both teams. We'll talk about the Kings and the Quackers next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. You can always text us 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 in our UL inbox.
Didn't get a holiday bonus? At Wolf GMC Buick, we have the bonus you need. Get 0% financing on our most popular trucks like the Sierra half-ton crew cab during GMC's Canada-wide clearance. Or select up to $8,500 on a number of Sierras. If you're looking for heavy duty, we have that too. Get GMC employee pricing on our Sierra HDs, Yukons, and the all-new GMC Hummer EV. And seeing it's the holidays, a $500 bonus on select 2024 and 2025 models. But when the holidays are done, so are these deals. Get to Wolf GMC Buick today.
I take possession of my commercial space in 3 months. I need lighting. I need a fire alarm. I need data. I need a generator. I need panels.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Projects team reporting. We design, build, and construct all the electrical systems for your projects. Need everything to work right? Get the Action Electrical project team on your site.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
When picking a New Year's resolution, try to avoid things you have no influence over.
Like bringing home the cup? That would be awesome.
But completely outside your control. Instead, pick something you can control, like bringing home some Wilhock beef jerky.
That would also be awesome. But what if we brought the cup home to Canada and it was filled with Wilhock beef jerky?
Okay, I'll allow it.
Wilhock beef jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today because you don't win cups with salad. The Boxing Week blowout is back at the Brick.
Shop their extraordinary deals like 60% off sofas when you buy the matching love seater chair. Save up to $2,500 off big screen TVs, up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture, and up to 50% off mattresses. Plus, buy more, save more, up to an extra $300 off kitchen appliances. Some exclusions apply. See thebrick.com for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada. With sports and entertainment properties including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet every week all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
You don't know what awaits you on the road to come, but with the 2025 XC90 from Volvo of Edmonton, you'll have the versatility to take on whatever life throws at you. The new XC90, a luxurious SUV with seating for up to 7, boasts newly upgraded body and wheel design. It's the perfect choice to drive into the coming year. And right now, you'll save $4,500 and lease from 1.49% on all in-stock 2025 XC90s. Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, 1205 101 Street Southwest.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab elevation models. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, you can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
At Canadian Tire on December 26th and 27th, spend over $200 pre-tax on almost anything and collect 3 times the bonus CT money. Conditions apply. Details online.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
3:27 on a positive Friday. It is the Jason Gregor Show presented by playalberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Of course, 8 NHL games tonight. Oilers in a busy slate tomorrow. They will return to action on 13 games on Saturday. Got some NFL, NBA, host of games. Use the promo code Gregor50 and you'll get a free $50 play at playalberta.ca. Oilers are in LA to take on the Kings tomorrow at 2 o'clock. And then Sunday afternoon, they'll be in Anaheim to take on the Ducks. As we go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. And stop in right now. How about $1? Does it sound good? $1 coffee. You love it? And they've lowered their prices to make it even better. Only at McDonald's. As Eric Stevens from The Athletic covers both the Kings and the Ducks. Eric, welcome back to the show, my man. How you doing?
I'm good, Jason. How's it going today?
All right. I don't think we can hear him, Con, so we'll try to get his audio up a little bit there. So I can see him, but I can't hear him. So we'll see if there's a muted problem or not. We'll see, Eric. I don't know if you're muted or not, but we'll try to get that sorted out. Try it again. I can see you. No, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. So yeah, we'll get it figured out. Might be muted. Who knows? Who knows? But the Kings and the Oilers, I looked at, if you want to go into a deep dive, you can at OilersNation.com, because I went through the remaining 48 games for the Oilers, Vegas, LA, Vancouver, and Calgary. Edmonton has 19 games remaining in their division. Vegas has 12, LA 16, Vancouver 18, Calgary 19. And where Edmonton and Calgary, their advantage for Flame fans, they each play 11 games against Seattle, Anaheim, and the Sharks. The Oilers play Seattle and Anaheim 4 times, Sharks 3 times. They play then the Flames play the Ducks and Sharks 4 times, and Seattle 3 times. The Oilers, in their last 24 games against Seattle, Anaheim, and San Jose, they're 21-3. They're 7-1 against all 3 of them. And they've beaten Seattle. They've won 6 in a row. They've won 7 in a row against the Ducks. They've 4 in a row against the Sharks. So they're pretty good, as Eric is with us now. And so, Eric, let's start with the Kings, though. The Oilers and the Kings, they've met in the playoffs 3 consecutive seasons. And I just don't think Edmonton's a great matchup for the Kings. I do think Vegas would be a much more favorable matchup for LA style-wise. What do you think, and what do you make of the Kings, who have had a very heavy road schedule thus far, 21 to 34 games on the road, and they've fared pretty well?
Yeah, you know what? I like the first point that you made about the stylistic differences, because you know how it is when it comes to playoffs and matchups, and that's often what can determine, you know, who's going to win series. And just these last 3 years, and you know, you're right. There's just an element, and we know what the elements are to Edmonton, to where they're just a real bad matchup for the Kings. But you know, I wonder. And so going into tomorrow's game, you know, you could immediately think, well, what's different? You know, is there really any difference? But you know, I kind of wonder with the additions that the Kings made, you know, this off season, you know, could that be something that brings them closer to the Oilers if they were to say meet again, you know, in the playoffs? And so tomorrow will be kind of that first example. And you know, one of those additions, you know, very clearly in Warren Fogle. You know, could he and the others that they've added to their squad put them in a better position, you know, to handle, or at least to deal with the Oilers if it came to that. But I think so far with the season that they've had, you know, and again, you know, how many they played the league high 21 road games. I think they've fared pretty well thus far. In fact, maybe some would suggest that they are a little bit better than what most anticipated.
Yeah, I would agree with that, especially the tough start with 21 out of 34 on the road. And, you know, Fogel's added some size and some speed. He was very open about the fact that, you know, he wanted a more consistent offensive opportunity. And I think he's getting that. You know, he's played with Kopitar at times. Now, he did play with Leon Draisaitl for a bit last year, but mainly he was a third-line guy, and there's nothing wrong with that in Edmonton, but he felt like, you know, he could do more. It was kind of like a Fogle for Arvidsson trade. And if you look at it due to Arvidsson's injuries right now, that LA would be winning that trade, albeit early, but right now at the half, or, you know, closing in at Christmas time, the advantage early on would be for Fogle in that kind of free agent trade, if we want to call it that.
Yeah, you know what? I think Warren's been an under the radar great signing for LA. You know, maybe one that, you know, frankly, I think Rob Blake deserves credit for. And, you know, there have been some missteps that he's made along the way, but he deserves full credit for that signing. You know, Warren's, he's played up and down the lineup as he's done pretty much his whole career. Yeah. You know, certainly. But I think he's been such a great fit because, as you know, Warren, he's a worker. He just works and works and works. And he fits that Kings mindset. You know, there's been some outliers that they have here and there, but their identity is that of a team that just works and defends and checks all over the ice. That's what he does. And he brings some zest and zeal to a line. And I think lately in particularly too, not just up and down, but lately now they formed sort of a third line with him, Quentin Byfield in the middle, Tanner Jeannot on the right side. Those are 3 big guys that can skate, that can hound pucks. I think it's really become sort of an identity line for them. And again, you know, the thing is about it too, is that Warren's been able to produce as well. I think he's on pace for maybe a 20 goal, 40 point season. That's what you have wanted and expected out of him going into this year.
How has Tanner Jeannot played?
You know what I think, and along with that identity line that I just talked about, I think he's been playing some of his best hockey lately, and in fact, probably ironically after he got the 3-game suspension, I think he's been able to find a role. He was playing mainly fourth line minutes at the start of the year. And I think, while he wasn't, say, necessarily hurting the team, I don't know if he was particularly, say, helping, or really at least making a difference for the club. Since he's gotten with Byfield and Fogle, I think we've seen some of his best hockey, and it's a more, it's higher, a little bit higher in the lineup, but it's also a consistent role for him, and I think he's starting to flourish with that.
Well, he's a big body with some skill, and you mentioned Quinton Byfield. You know what? His numbers aren't where they want him to be, Eric, but, they're playing him more down the middle. He's been on the wing. I think long term, you know what? They kind of just got to say, let's let Byfield get comfortable down the middle, because I think with his size and speed, that's ultimately where he'd benefit. No,
and you know what, Jason? The Kings have always saw him as a center.
Okay.
Yes, he played on the wing, played up there with Kopitar and Kempe, did some nice things, broke out last season, but they've always viewed him and his skill set as being a center. And yeah, you're right. The numbers haven't been there, haven't been what he's expected, really what they've expected. But what they've liked about him and what keeps him in the lineup every single night, and what keeps them believing in him, in terms of being an impact player, is the fact that he does a lot of those other things, a lot of those non-glamorous things, very well. He wins board battles. He goes to the net. He hunts after pucks. He brings a lot of effort every night. Yeah, the goal scoring hasn't been there. It's been, it's come and gone at times over his career. But let's put it this way, if he wasn't doing those other things that I just talked about, I think that there would be a lot more concern. And frankly, I think there'd be some, wonder about, him being in the lineup or him long term. But he does a lot of those dirty things, those things that don't necessarily show up on the score sheet very well. And like I said, he's centering that line right now, and they are making a difference in games.
Eric Stevens joins us. Eric, Drew Doughty, what's any word on his timeline to return?
Yeah, it's a good question. And in the times that I've talked with Jim Hiller about him, he's progressing well. He's off of his crutches. Right now, they still haven't determined a timeline in terms of, say, when he's going to begin, say, a skating program or whatsoever. I think what they're trying to do is really gear him up for the second half of the year. I know Drew himself, you've got the Four Nations coming up. I think he would love to be able to be in the position of getting some action in before that and being maybe a late consideration, for the lineup or someone gets hurt or whatsoever. How much he relishes playing for Team Canada, in international events. I don't know if his recovery is necessarily going to be able to line up in time for that, but I think the Kings are viewing him as, being that, it's weird to think of him that way, but being that major addition or that trade addition or so, for the second half of the year to really spark their lineup. But having said that, that defense and what they've done without him, they've been able to cover quite nicely for him.
Eric Stevens joins us. Eric, let's go across to Anaheim, of course, a team you've covered extensively for a long time as well. And we saw Cam Fowler get moved, but not for a whole bunch, to be honest, with the Ducks even retaining some salary in that move. Hey, give me your thoughts on that trade. Did it surprise you how little of a return they got for Cam Fowler?
You know what? I tell you, maybe at first, a little bit, given what he's done and accomplished over 14 plus years, and given with the fact that he was still playing 20 plus minutes a night, maybe not quite as much as he had been in previous seasons, but still someone that you can put in your top four. But I think it was one of those instances where, when you look at it, they wanted, Cam wanted to trade, the Ducks wanted to trade him. Everybody probably in the NHL knew that he was going to be moved at some point.
Right.
And with the fact that Anaheim had these these young blue liners on their roster, whether it's Jackson McComb, Owen Zellweger, Pavel Mintyukov, when Cam came back from injury, they were having to sit one of them, on night, and they were rotating. But long term, that wasn't going to be, it was going to be an issue, and it was going to be a situation. So I think in that instance, Pat, kind of had to maybe take the best, deal that he could, out there. And teams all knew this. Teams knew that, he didn't have a whole lot of leverage in this situation. And so, really they just, kind of took the best, deal that they could offer there. And St. Louis obviously needed a body there on defense, especially with Nick Leddy being out.
Eric Stevens joins us. Eric, Gauthier is going to play against Philadelphia. I'm guessing, he'll be excited about that. If you look at this Ducks season overall, what have been the positives for this team this year?
They're more competitive. Certainly, they are in most games. I think that Greg Cronin has been able to, to an extent, get them to understand how they're going to have to win, how they're going to have to play, every night.
Okay.
And frankly, it's kind of starting and leaning on that, on their defense here. The problem with them is that they don't score enough.
Right.
They're losing a lot of those 3-1, 3-2 games whatsoever. Their power play, frankly, right now stinks. That's been a big disappointment.
Right.
But I think they're at that point where they understand how to play, how they're going to have to win. But they're still going to have to build some talent and really find a system that's going to be able to create more offense so that they can turn some of those close games around. So it's a bit of a mixed bag, Jason.
Is Trevor Zegras going to be in Anaheim long term?
I haven't had to answer that question. I would lean toward no.
Okay.
But I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that he won't be in Anaheim long term. The one thing I do kind of go back to, and I kind of wonder is, does Pat Verbeek really view him as a player that's going to be essential for him when the team is ready to contend for playoffs again?
Right.
That's where I think really it just comes down to is whether he's going to be that kind of type of core player that he deems essential for when they're ready to, be in playoff series and whatnot. And anything short of that, is really, it's just up in the air.
Yeah, like when you look at his game, like the guy was a back-to-back 60-point player early in his career, and you're thinking, geez, like this guy's going to be an 80, 90-point player. But it hasn't taken any steps there. And you mentioned, they're not scoring. Does their system, like is Cronin, is he, inadvertently, subconsciously, maybe just systemically, like is he neutering his young offensive players? And is that a factor at all in their lack of success? Does the system lead to them not scoring?
You know what? That's really a great question. And I tell you what, some of the fan base that has, been vocal in terms of their misgivings about Greg and his system, because, he wants them to play possession hockey, sort of a simple brand of hockey. And that in itself, it makes sense. It sounds right. It could lead to winning hockey. I just don't know if the personnel that they have necessarily matches up with what he wants, out of them. Because, there are some creative players on this team that, like you said, Zegras, you've got Leo Carlson, you've Mason McTavish, maybe not necessarily creative, but, he can be very productive, playing a different style of hockey. And, you can say that in some ways their development, at least from an offensive standpoint, has kind of stagnated.
Yeah.
And that's what you don't want, when you have players that are in that from that 18 to 22-year-old range or whatsoever, you want to be able to maximize their offensive ability. So,
yeah,
I do think that that's something that they've kind of got to get lined up here, going forward, as long as he's coach and as long as Pat is GM, in terms of aligning, okay, how are we going to maximize this young talent that we've collected here?
Yeah.
It's great to be able to, to have, great two-way forwards and whatnot, but you also don't want to stunt their development, focusing on one area, but not letting them expand in the other.
Yeah, 100%. And that's their biggest challenge. On paper, they've got a lot of good young players. It's just a matter of, can they get them now to get some productivity? That's going to be the key, no doubt. Eric, as always, great stuff, man. Enjoy the games this weekend. Really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks as always, Jason. Glad we connected.
There you go. That's Eric Stevens. Covers both the Kings and the Ducks for The Athletic. When we come back, some new Oiler lines post-Christmas. We'll outline what they are next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, live on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Vimy and Don and Hockey are dedicated to skill development for all hockey players. If you are a student athlete interested in growing as both a person and a hockey player, visit vimyridge.epsb.ca or donnan.ca to register for a free shadow day. Beginner or an experienced player, these programs are designed to nurture and develop your skills in a positive and supportive environment. Vimy and Donnan help student athletes pursue their passion for hockey while achieving their academic goals. Register for a Vimy and Donnan Hockey Shadow Day today.
Well, get ready for a silly, hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Checking off your gift list can go more smoothly when you give smoothies. From now till December 31st, buy a $30 Booster Juice gift card and gift yourself with any regular size smoothie for free. Try the new salted caramel smoothie made with vanilla oat beverage, vanilla frozen yogurt, and decadent caramel. It pairs magically with the salted caramel booster ball, bursting with score toffee bites, cinnamon, maple syrup, cashew butter, and more. Happiest of holidays from Booster Juice. Download the Booster Rewards app today.
3, 2, 1. Happy New Year. Let's rock. Edmonton's biggest New Year's Eve party is at On the Rise.
Featuring Edmonton's #1 party band, the Barkhells. The Barkhells.
Get ready to dance the night away as we ring in 2025 in style at OTR.
Tickets include a 3-course meal, party favors, and bubbly at midnight.
This party sells out every year.
Oh, and if you don't have anyone to kiss at midnight, Marco is always available.
OTR's New Year's Eve party.
Tickets at ontherock.yeg.com.
For years now, we've been warning Edmontonians on the hazards of our stormwater facilities. While they may appear to look like still ponds, there is moving water beneath the surface, which makes the ice dangerously. The unpredictability of stormwater facilities makes them treacherously unsafe for all winter activities, even walking. So think twice. Don't go on the ice. A safety message from EPCOR.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
New year, new you. Let's kickstart 2025 by making better life choices, starting with quality pizza from Papa John's. Right now, get 25% off any regular menu price pizza with promo code BETTER25. A deal so good, it might just count as self-care. But hurry, resolutions wait for no one. Offer ends January 5th. Order now at papajohns.ca with promo code BETTER25. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some Papa John's.
A Bedtime Story by Zachary Martin Hyman.
The hockey game's over. The Zamboni sleeps soon. I lay down in comfort. Legacy heating my room. Good night to you, furnace, with your hot blower running. Good night to you, air vents. keeping the warm air coming. Good night to my payments that I won't see for 1 year. Good night to my legacy. Bedtime is near.
Warm winter nights. That's how you soothe your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at cantork.com.
Now, all sizes of premium roast coffee at McDonald's have a new low price starting at $1 plus tax for a small. It's great if you love great tasting coffee. $1 small premium roast coffee every single day. Must be McCafe. Plus tax at participating restaurants in Canada. Excludes delivery.
Hey, I know you're new here. We carry multiple brands.
Okay. Hi there, this is Riverside Motorsports, Yamaha, Suzuki, KTM, Polaris, Gas, Husqvarna, Timbersled, Stasic, Talaria, Climb, Floor, Alpine Stars, 509, Troy Lee Designs, and more. Sales, how can I help you?
Located on St. Albert Trail, rideriverside.com. Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Portions of this hour brought to you by EWEL. Get your power play amped up with EWEL, supplying the City of Champions and Alberta with quality electrical gear since 1975. EWEL.ca is your partner in power.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
So Friday returns. How are you? Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Of course, sports1440.ca. Oilers had their first skate, which was in LA. So players, some of them that were here were jumped on the charter. Others would just come in from wherever. McDavid was back home out east, so he'd fly directly to LA. Usually guys like Janmark and others. Janmark went to LA for Christmas, so he would probably be there early. So the Oilers, some new line combinations. Nugent Hopkins is back. He'll play with McDavid and Hyman. That's not new. But Arvidsson, of course, who played there the last game, he's skating with Draisaitl and Podkolzin, Henrique, Brown, and Kapanen. And then Janmark back at the center position with Perry and Skinner. Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse, Stetcher, Kulak, and Emberson. And look for Stu Skinner to play tomorrow and Calvin Pickard to play Sunday against the Anaheim Ducks. And then the Oilers come home for 2 games as they host Utah and then the Ducks again before another back-to-back, because they got the Ducks at home Friday and then into Seattle on Saturday. So we'll see. And then the Oilers, as I mentioned, they enter a pretty tough part of their schedule. Just quality of competition, yes, but more so just the travel. They got a lot of travel against some really good teams, which isn't ideal. So you look at Edmonton's, they have a 12-game stretch here, and when they come out of that, it's challenging because they face off the 3rd of January against Anaheim. Then the 4th are in Seattle, 7th are in Boston, 9th are in Pittsburgh, the 11th are in Chicago. Then they fly all the way home for 1 game against LA on the 13th. Then back to Minnesota on the 15th, Colorado the next night, the 16th, and then Vancouver on the 18th. So it'll be a tough stretch. But if the Oilers can, you go 8-3-1 in those 11 games, that's a hell of a run, honestly. And the Anaheim game, obviously, you play them twice, so you'd like to win both of those, ideally. But I think 8-3-1 would be an excellent record for the Oilers in that time. So we'll see. Arvidsson, he looked much better. He got better every game, but he looked like really good. Looked like he had all his jump and kind of had his timing back. So he's going to face his former team tomorrow. Could be amped up. We'll see. That first game out of the break is always an interesting one to see. Sometimes I think there's a slight advantage for the road team, but we'll see. So we'll see how the Oilers do. And then they go into Anaheim, where they've won, are they winners of their last 7 in a row against Anaheim? They're 7-1 against the Ducks in their last 8 since the start of the 22-23 season. They're 7-1 against Seattle. They're 7-1 against the Sharks. And they got 11 games out of their final 48 against those three teams. So it's a good opportunity for the Oilers. Let's get to the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. All of a sudden, you got furnace issues, any sort of issue you need fixing, they will come and do it. No overtime charges late at night on the weekends. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. Cam Tate, of course, longtime journalist in town, has cerebral palsy, in a wheelchair, but guess what? Through the wonders of technology, Cam's words come to life in the 2-minute warning.
We're going to pay respect to Paul Harvey and Gregor and start a new thing on Friday. See, Gregor has Who Is It Wednesday, and Mr. Harvey had the rest of the story. So tie the tin cans on this thing. We're going to marry the two. It will be a 3-day wedding. Sure will. I'm performing the wedding ceremony as well as master of ceremonies. Okay, sorry. Okay, we're going to call it Folks on Friday. Okay? Are you with me here, Uncle Pete? Folks on Friday. I'll write about a person, many of them friends, and then during the very last line of this broadcast bonanza, I'll reveal the name. Folks on Friday, right? So here we go, Folks on Friday, Chapter 1. You can tell a lot about a person, I think, by the time stamp of an email. I was shocked to see this week's Folks on Friday replied to an email at 6:01 in the morning of April 21, 2017. They were replying to a brief, very brief email. I sent him to say congratulations. But then again, he is from a Saskatchewan farming community where early mornings are, simply, a part of life. Our guest is a good friend of sports, 1440. Morning man, Kevin Carius, and his father was a member of the RCMP. And speaking of Saskatchewan, our guest turned a few heads in North Battleford in his first year of coaching junior. A hockey. He went up the ranks, Swift Current Broncos, Western Hockey League, worked himself up from an assistant coach from the Detroit Red Wings to 4 head coaching gigs, counting this morning. He kind of looked like Santa Claus Friday morning in the YouTube video, dressed in a red and white sweatshirt. Our guest told reporters that yesterday he was in Kelowna, enjoying the holidays with his family. He caught a flight to Los Angeles, packed a few suits and ties, and then headed to Detroit, arriving at 8:30 local time. Our guest needed a suit and tie tonight for his first game as head coach, Detroit Red Wings against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Say hello to our first guest on Folks on Friday, Todd McCullen. 2-minute warning with me, Tater, Monday, Friday. Gregor Show Sports, 1440.
And, we wish Todd all the best in Detroit. That is a tough situation. That is a much different team than the one when he made his NHL debut as an assistant coach in 05-06, where they were loaded. You had Yzerman was their captain. You had Datsuk and Zetterberg and Lidstrom and Holmstrom, and go down the list. They had a really good team. This version of the Red Wings, not so much. They have potential, right? Mo Seider, you like him as a defenseman, great, but they're a ways away from being the Detroit team that Todd McClellan knows. And you know what? That's going to be his job to try to build this team up and make them competitive. I think in his introductory press conference talked about, I think we can work harder. I think we can give more. And, they'll start there. It takes you a while to get to know the players. The players come in, it's a new coach, it's a new opportunity. I don't blame Derek Lalonde. I don't think he was the reason why they were losing, but what he was trying wasn't working. So, sometimes you make a change. We'll see. Do they get the new coach bump? Potentially. It happens lots. But is it sustainable in Detroit? I don't know. I would hope they're not going to play the awful system that they played in LA. That's all I really just, on a personal note, I hope they don't do that, because I don't think it's not great for the game, number one. But I guess if they win, then people will be okay with it. But it is, because it can be painful. You saw it. It's a painful one to play. Heck, the players got tired of it. So when the players are tired of it, that it's not a great system, right? It's not fun. It's really hard. And it can win you games in the regular season. I think LA showed it can't win you in the playoffs. It just doesn't. So that's we'll find out what Todd does with the new opportunity he's going to have in Los Angeles. Coming up in the next hour, Craig Button will join us. We'll talk NHL, but we're also going to talk World Juniors. Speaking of the Red Wings, They got one of the best defensemen not in the NHL. And you'll watch him for Team Sweden. So we'll talk about that. Also, if you have the best player, how is he not on your power play? I don't care how old he is. I don't, honestly. How Gavin McKenna isn't on Canada's power play, I'll talk to Craig. He covers it closer than me. But from my perch, I don't get it. It does not make any sense whatsoever to not have Gavin McKenna on the power play. And we'll talk some orders and some numbers for you. Because to me, the biggest storyline, the orders being where they are in the standings, not a surprise. But can they get higher? And the reasons why and maybe why not. Coming up after Connor Halley and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Till the end of this month, you can save up to $125 on a set of 4 select tires. Plus, you can save $50 or more on any service with a set of select Goodyear tires. Conditions apply. Visit fountaintire.com for a near store.
The Sports 1440 update.
The NHL's Christmas break is over tonight. You have the Sabres and the Blackhawks, the Maple Leafs in Detroit. Devils taking on the Canes. Bruins head to Columbus to meet the Blue Jackets. The Blues will host the Preds. Wild in Dallas. Utah takes on the Avs. And the Golden Knights heading to San Jose to meet the Sharks. At the World Juniors, Canada in action, looking to make it 2 straight wins to start the tourney as they take on Latvia. Puck drop 5:30 in that one. Elsewhere around the tournament, right now, Sweden leads Kazakhstan at 5-0 after 20 minutes with a couple minutes left. The Germans trail Finland 2-1, and Slovakia earlier today beat Switzerland 2-1. In the association tonight, Pacers are in Boston. The Magic host the Knicks. Timberwolves taking on the Rockets. Nuggets meet the Cavs. Mavericks in the desert taking on the Suns, and it's the Clippers up against the Warriors. College football bowl season. It's a busy day right now. Vanderbilt leads Georgia Tech 14-13 with a minute and a half left in the third quarter. Vandy is driving in this one. Later today, Arkansas takes on Texas Tech. Syracuse up against Washington State, and Texas A&M battles USC. Earlier today, it was Navy over Oklahoma 21-20. In the WHL, the Edmonton Oil Kings in Red Deer tonight, taking on the Rebels. Puck drop 7 o'clock. The rematch goes tomorrow, or Sunday, 4 o'clock from Rogers Place. And at the PWHL level, Hillary Knight and the Boston Fleet in Toronto, taking on Sarah Nurse and the Scepters. Puck drop at 5. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Craig Button from the NHL on TSN and ask 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, the Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
The locks are on a timer. They're going to get out.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Service team reporting. With the remarkable reach of our bucket trucks and other equipment, we assess, service, and maintain your electrical lighting and automation systems.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the only place to call for heating your home. So when it's time to replace your old furnace, call Legacy. Call Legacy. Or for 24-hour repair with no overtime rates. Legacy even heats your shower with hot water tank. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. And with no interest and no payments for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
New year, new you. Let's kickstart 2025 by making better life choices, starting with quality pizza from Papa John's. Right now, get 25% off any regular menu price pizza with promo code BETTER25. A deal so good, it might just count as self-care. But hurry, resolutions wait for no one. Offer ends January 5th. Order now at papajohns.ca with promo code BETTER25. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some Papa John's.
When picking a New Year's resolution, try to avoid things you have no influence over.
Like bringing home the cup?
That would be awesome, but completely outside your control. Instead, pick something you can control, like bringing home some Wilhauk beef jerky.
That would also be awesome. But what if we brought the cup home to Canada and it was filled with Wilhauk beef jerky?
Okay, I'll allow it.
Wilhauk beef jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today, because you don't win cups with salad.
Introducing the Female Super League. Female hockey is on the rise with more women playing the game than ever. Join us as we pave the way for the future of women's hockey. The FSL is more than a game. It's a movement and an experience for the motivated female athlete. Teams will compete in a showcase-style format featuring consistent interprovincial competition. Come be part of the journey as the 2024-25 season unveils a 12U division, as well as the launch of a groundbreaking progressive body-checking 14U division. For more information, visit femalesuperleague.com.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers, and that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit FountainTire.com today.
Is it Riverside Motorsports? No. It's Riverside Motorsports. Over 55 years in business, and people still get it wrong. Guess it's time to get it right.
Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Hair Aware with Dr. Vance Elliott.
Hey, Doc, I really want my hair restoration to fly under the radar, but I recently read that men have to shave their heads and go full Lex Luthor before treatment.
The majority of my patients don't require head shaving because we can work around it. I can perform a no-shave FUE transplant or an FUT transplant if we determine that a transplant is necessary. Let's discuss your options.
Trust a world-renowned expert in hair restoration. Book an appointment at drvanceelliott.com today.
Adventure just doesn't stumble into your life. It roars to life with Riverside Motorsports. Tearing up trails or cruising the open road. Yamaha ATVs, side-by-sides, motorcycles, and dirt bikes deliver the performance you crave. Built for thrills, ready for your next adventure. Yamaha's legendary performance and reliability take you there. Make Mother Nature your playground on a Yamaha from Riverside Motorsports. Located on St. Albert Trail. RideRiverside.com. Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Portions of this hour brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. The Canada-wide clearance is on now at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on a 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Elevation. See more at gmcoffers.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.407. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Also, as we welcome back from your holiday break, hopefully you had a great time with family, friends, whatever you're doing. Celebrate Christmas. I know Hanukkah has started now. So enjoy that. I think it's 8 days. So there you go. Also, it's the Mums Trip starts today. So the order players, you know what? It doesn't matter how old you are. When mom or dad are in the crowd, you get a little bit more amped up. It's just how it is. So you come out of the Christmas break. You know what? Maybe the players are like, hey, Mom, why don't you come stay Christmas with us? And then we're going to have the Mums Trip. It's actually pretty smart. Plus, you're in LA. It's 2 afternoon games, so they'll get there tonight. That usually you'll have the the dinner with your mom tonight, and then they have the game tomorrow. You can probably have another dinner, or maybe the dinner will be tomorrow night. We'll see. But 2 afternoon games, so you know what? If the moms want to go rip it up on the town in LA, no problem. Well, the kids will go to bed. Role reversal, but that should be a good time for the moms and their sons. And now it doesn't always have to be mums, because you know what, it might be a sister, it could be a mentor, but they call it the mum trip and they try to bring their mums. But obviously for some guys, depending on their mom's work schedule and everything else, they can't always partake, but hopefully they can. I haven't talked to players, and definitely to the parents. It's it's something they very much look forward to. So it's great. Very good. A lot of text line in 833-401-1440 in our email inbox, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, I heard the interview with Coach Chalk talking about Noah Philp and finding consistency. When I see the orders and Gregor announced that Janmark's playing center, how long do you think before they give Philp an opportunity? Well, it's a great question. I think the Oilers, you need to find out if you have a guy who can play at the NHL level in Noah Philp. Now, he's an older rookie, and that's okay. But they're a team that's looking to compete for the Stanley Cup, right? We all know that. And do you want a rookie as your fourth line center come playoff time? Probably not. But you definitely don't want a rookie who doesn't have much experience. So I look at them and, like, hey, look at Stenlund. Now, he was a little bit older, sure. But Stenlund had didn't have a ton of NHL success prior to being the guy in Florida, and he was great. Big, strong right-hand centerman. Philp can skate. He's tough. Mason Gertson's no joke, man. You see that tilt? Is a hell of a tilt. So I'd like to see him up here, honestly. Like, I think, and I know it's hard. Like, this is a hard thing. Derek Ryan just played game number 600. That's a huge milestone. And I wonder if that was part of the reasoning. But I don't believe that Derek Ryan at this stage is a guy who's going to help you come playoff time. Right? He didn't play every game last year. Doesn't play a ton of minutes. Yeah, he can win faceoffs. Yeah, but you need to do more. So I won't be surprised if we see it. Now, the thing is, if you call up Philp, then one of the 12 forwards in the lineup tomorrow comes out. Right? Like, Matthias Janmark definitely isn't coming to the lineup. Matthias Janmark's having himself a hell of a year. Right? He's had a great season for the Oilers. He's already got more points this year than he had all of last year. He's on pace to probably score 30 points for the first time since 2018 with Dallas. And he had 19 goals, by the way. Now, he doesn't have a lot of goals, but he's got a lot of helpers. Like, he only needs 6 more assists to tie his career high in assists, which was 19. He's already got 13. Like, he's at 5-on-5. He's been excellent. So he's not coming on my lineup. Well, Kapanen's played well since they claimed him on waivers. So it's a good problem to have, but it is a fair question. I think it's one that, yes, you need to you'll need to do something. Hey, boys, do you think they're going to extend Emberson? That comes in from Wisconsin. Oh, 100%. Without question. Well, the first thing they're going to do is make sure he plays enough games so he's not an unrestricted free agent, right? Because he could qualify as a group 2. And I think he's down like to 20 games or something left to do it. So, I have no problem. He'll make it, right? That's not an issue. But they really like Ty Emberson. No question. He's been excellent anchoring the penalty kill. He's physical. And he's just like, what has he played? 62 NHL games? I think he's got 18 left actually before. So, he'll do it easily. As he should. Yes, I think Edmonton's going to extend him. And because he's a young defenseman with not a lot of games played and not a lot of point production, right or wrongly, points matter a lot of times for evaluating defensemen to get bigger money. And then time on ice is like the next biggest one. And Emberson's numbers for the Oilers bode very well for getting him on a really good team-friendly deal for the next few years. Right? Like, he's not going to sign long-term because I don't think he would get long enough to make it worthwhile. Now, I guess if they said, hey, we'll give you $2.5 million for 6 years, would you take it? Like, it's guaranteed money. Right? It's guaranteed $50 million. But I could see him saying, well, if by that time he'll have played, 100 NHL games? By the time the season's over, well, probably closer to 100 and 110, I think it would be, because they got 48 games. So if he plays all of them, he'll be right at 110. So I could see Ty Emberson. I think it's a no-brainer. I think they're very happy with him. Well, I know they're very happy with him. So yes, I would expect an extension from Iverson. Just not sure exactly when. Hey guys, do you think the Oilers need to get tougher for the playoffs from Gordon? Oh yeah, the grittier Gordon for sure. Like, the Oilers can fight enough. If in today's NHL, if you have to fight, the Oilers have enough of it. Emberson's physical. Nurse is physical. Now, getting Evander Kane back will be huge. Podkolzin's physical. Leon Draisaitl doesn't hit guys, but him and McDavid are intimidating for different ways, right? Zach Hyman's hard to play against. Corey Perry. But yes, I think they could use another banging winger for sure, other than Evander Kane. And I do think if Noah Philp comes in, he would bring you more size and speed down the middle on your fourth line. But like, I don't think it's a massive amount they have to add. But getting Evander Kane back, now that's a big if. We don't know if he's going to play. We're assuming, right? You're hearing, March at the earliest. Well, that's the earliest. And then he hasn't played all year. Like, it's his timing, hands, everything. Like, he could come back and go up and down your lineup and say, okay, you know what? Maybe we're going to bring Evander Kane back, but we're not bringing Evander Kane back to be a top 6 forward. We're bringing Evander Kane back to help us in the bottom 6. Be physical, but he doesn't kill penalties. So, that's the challenge. How involved does he get? But the other thing is, I would think Evander Kane would be highly motivated. Evander Kane has 1 year left on his deal. Now, his numbers were pretty good last year. And for a guy like 24 goals, it's no joke. But, not huge point totals. He'll be 34 when his contract's up. He's going to want another good contract. So I would hope and think that he would be highly motivated to come back in the best possible shape he could be. And if he does, and he has a good playoffs, and then that carries into a good regular season next year, that could help him. If he doesn't, well, that's a challenge. Hey, guys, I don't see why Emerson would be north of what Kesselring or Benoit got out of Utah and Toronto. I'd like to see the Oilers get a certified nail gun in the bottom 6 from Mark. Well, there's not a lot of those guys. I think Emerson's physical enough in their third pair. And you're right, 1.4 million is probably lots, to be honest. Now, does he go? Because Kesselring, I think, was Kesselring a 2-year deal? I think it was a 2-year deal. Same with Benoit. Benoit might have been 3, actually. So, because hey, some of those guys, when you're a tweener right on the cuff, man, I get why if you can get guaranteed money, he'll take it. Like Josh Brown, hello, he's like, sign me up, man. But Josh Brown also, when he signed it, he thought for sure he would be in their third pair, and he's not. And that's been difficult for him, difficult on his family. His family's got a house here and stuff, so that's not great, right? But he's stayed confident. It was like, I didn't want to move my family down, and back and forth and back and forth. He thought he'd be up here, but now he's not. So we'll see. But yeah, I think those are fair comparisons, right? Because you look at RFAs, not a lot of games played, not a lot of points. That he fits right into that. Hey guys, I know he's regressed, but would Zegras be a fit on a skilled lineup like ours from Antoine? No, I don't see where Trevor Zegras really fits for the Oilers, especially when you look at cap-wise and style-wise. Number one, just let's start on a salary cap, right? First of all, he plays center, left shot center. They got 2 top centers. He ain't playing center here. He's not a bottom 6 center. So where does he fit? I don't see how Trevor Zegras fits. I think Trevor Zegras can go somewhere and be a pretty good player. Unfortunately now that's last year he got hurt. Now he's hurt again this year. That's brutal. Last year he missed 51 games due to injury. And now he'll be out for a while. So that's what sucks for him after 2 60-point seasons. But yeah, I wouldn't write off Trevor Zegras. If you're the Anaheim Ducks, you gotta be very careful in how you handle him, because you could end up regretting trading him and giving him away at a very low price point. And I don't think you want to do that. How old is he? 23? 24? He might be turning 24 and then 25, right? Like next year will be his 24-year-old season, I think. Yeah, Con's giving me a thumbs up. Okay, good. So I look at Trevor Zegras, and he's a skilled player. I think he's got to get a little bit more consistent for sure. And you could say that about a lot of players. But I look at where Zegras is right now. I think it's a real big risk that Anaheim could lose that trade bad. So they have to be very careful. When we come back, Craig Button will join us. We'll talk about Zegras, Oilers, World Juniors, McKenna, guy who I think may be the best defenseman in the World Junior Tournament. That and more on the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Checking off your gift list can go more smoothly when you give smoothies.
From now till December 31st, buy a $30 Booster Juice gift card and gift yourself with any regular size smoothie for free. Try the new salted caramel smoothie made with vanilla oat beverage, vanilla frozen yogurt, and decadent caramel. It pairs magically with the salted caramel booster ball, bursting with Score toffee bites, cinnamon, maple syrup, cashew butter, and more. Happiest of holidays from Booster Juice. Download the Booster Rewards app today.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
We've finished construction of our gamma radiation containment facility. Is it up to code? Is it going to be safe?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Testing team reporting. We test your commercial operations using tools like infrared to ensure safe operation. Trust us to prevent potential calamity before it strikes.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Delicious news. The McDonald's meals you love are now $9.99 every day. Grab your faves like the Big Mac, 6-piece McNugget, McChicken, or Filet-O-Fish with medium fries and a medium fountain drink for $9.99 each plus tax. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Edmonton, Alberta, and the surrounding area. Prices exclude delivery.
The Boxing Week blowout is back at the Brick. Shop their extraordinary deals like 60% off sofas when you buy the matching Love Cedar chair. Save up to $2,500 off big screen TVs, up to 25% off bedroom and dining room furniture, and up to 50% off mattresses. Plus, buy more, save more. Up to an extra $300 off kitchen appliances. Some exclusions apply. See thebrick.com for details. The Brick. Saving more.
Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle. Throw the load down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
You don't know what awaits you on the road to come, but with the 2025 XC90 from Volvo of Edmonton, you'll have the versatility to take on whatever life throws at you. The new XC90, a luxurious SUV with seating for up to 7, boasts newly upgraded body and wheel design. It's the perfect choice to drive into the coming year. And right now, you'll save $4,500 and lease from 1.49% on all in-stock 2025 XC90s. Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, 1205 101 Street Southwest.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
For over 65 years, Denham Ford has delivered the customer service and value that keeps Albertans moving for work and play. And that tradition continues with the final year-end 2024 clear-out. Enjoy low rates or thousands in year-end savings on every vehicle, including F-150, Bronco, and Super Duty. That's the value you've come to expect from where cars always cost less. Denham Ford on Highway 2A in Wetaskiwin or at denhamford.ca.
The holidays are here. Everyone at Bashaw Concrete Products encourages you to slow down. Revisit old holiday traditions and create happy new memories. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Dallas, Doreen, and Dylan, and all the staff at Bashaw Concrete Products.
Mental health affects us all. CMHA is working hard to erase the prejudice and empower those affected. Help us in our quest for a healthier Canada. Visit cmha.ca today and choose to donate, volunteer, or both. Every action counts.
3, 2, 1. Happy New Year. Let's rock. Edmonton's biggest New Year's Eve party is at On the Rise.
Featuring Edmonton's #1 party band,
The Barkels. The Barkels. Get ready to dance the night away as we ring in 2025 in style at OTR.
Tickets include a 3-course meal, party favors, and bubbly at midnight.
This party sells out every year.
Oh, and if you don't have anyone to kiss at midnight, Marco is always available.
OTR's New Year's Eve party.
Tickets at ontherockyeg.com.
A lot of things were going on in 1974. Happy Days premiered on television. The Rubik's Cube was invented. Halley and Foreman fought the rumble in the jungle. And GS Construction started their first job. Yes, for 50 years, GS Construction has been building the infrastructure of Edmonton and surrounding areas. Think of the neighborhoods that weren't even built yet. Think of all the work that had to be done to get them built. Probably about 50 years. But for GS Construction, it's been time well spent. For more, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Can Torque. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantorque.com.
Tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.425. Ooh, Sweden is pounding them. The Swedes are they are good. And a name to watch, I'm telling you right now, Axel Sandin Palika, the defenseman for Team Sweden. He was defenseman of the tournament last year. Had a hat trick in their opening game. He was the 17th overall pick in 2023 by the Red Wings. Now, he's not very big, but this guy's a hell of a player. He is pretty dynamic. Really dynamic. And I'm curious to see kind of how his development goes and how patient they're going to be with him, because you know what? He's not a very big, but he's dynamic. And, you know, he'd obviously have to be paired with a big defensive partner. But I'm telling you, that's a guy that Detroit fans, they've got some young guys coming. Well, not young guys. Mo Seider's obviously not that young. But if you look at Edmondson, and then you got Mo Seider, and then you've got Sandin Palika. They got three good prospects there. Like Edmondson down the road, he could be the big partner. He's huge. What is he, like 6'6", 215? Now, they're both young, so it ideally wouldn't be the greatest plan to have them together right off the hop, but we'll see where it goes down the stretch. But that's a guy to watch out for in this tournament. He is exciting. Very, very exciting. A few other texts coming in, 833-401-1440. Hey, boys, it's obvious we need a shift disturber. What do you think of Kiefer Sherwood? Well, I think he's great, and I also think zero chance, Jordy. He makes $1.5 million. He's got, 14 goals. He's killing he's going to set the NHL record for hits. He ain't getting traded, and definitely not in the division, right? Like, what could the Oilers offer the Canucks to make that trade happen? There's no chance. Like right now, Kiefer Sherwood, he's at the highest point ever. His value is the highest it's probably ever going to be. But the Vancouver Canucks, who the Oilers beat in the playoffs last year, and they might meet in the first round this year, it ain't happening. No chance. Should you want him? 100%. But zero chance that he is getting traded by the Edmonton Oilers. So see where that goes. But it ain't coming here. He's not getting traded. Why would the Canucks trade him, man? That guy's he's a fan favorite. They're chanting his name, for God's sakes. He's scoring, he's hitting, he's doing everything. He's giving you a huge value on a team that has a lot of guys making big cake, doing a whole lot of nothing. And we'll see. And then there also, it sounds like Pettersson and Hughes unlikely to play in their first game coming out of the break for the Vancouver Canucks. So some games to watch for tonight, though. The only one that really kind of impacts Edmonton a little bit would be the Vegas in San Jose. It's the return of Thomas Hertl to the Sharks, but no Jake Wallman, who plays the most minutes for them on the back end, going up against Vegas. That's going to be a tough game, I would think, for the Sharks, but it is the first game out of the break, so you never know. Colorado, Utah's playing pretty well. And then you got Minnesota, Dallas. That's I'm kind of curious to see what happens to Minnesota here. They've kind of hit the skids here a little bit. I won't be surprised at all if we're talking at the end of the end of January, that Minnesota is maybe now in fourth place in that division. Now, they do have, because Dallas is, they're 6 points back, but they got 2 games in hand. Colorado is 4 points back, but they're rolling. I like Minnesota, don't get me wrong, but that's just a tough division, as is the Pacific Division. And the Oilers in L.A., Edmonton 1 point up on L.A. They face off tomorrow afternoon. Oilers have 21 wins. L.A. has 19. And then, of course, Vegas sits with 5 points currently. They might be 7 points up at the end of the night, depending on what they do against San Jose tonight. Hey, Greg's, I love thinking about what ifs on the Oilers. Do you look at any chance you think they experiment with a left winger who can score 5-on-5 more than Nugent Hopkins? It's a fascinating question, Brian. And I think it's one that probably should be discussed more, if we're being honest, right? Ryan Nugent Hopkins is a player who, considering, now he's been pretty good lately, so I'll say that. But his 5-on-5 numbers are not where you need them to be for a guy who plays in your top 6 and plays almost exclusively with Connor McDavid. Right? Like Ryan Nugent Hopkins has 7 points 5-on-5. Skinner has 10, and Jeff Skinner's barely played the top 6. Matthias Janmark has 11. Connor Brown has 12. Like, look at how many defensemen have more points than him. Bouchard, Kulak, Nurse, and Ekholm. They all do. Yeah, Nugent Hopkins has not. I think it's a valid question. And I get that. I get he's popular in the room. I understand all that. Doesn't mean that he can't play on your team. But is he giving you the best bang for your buck 5-on-5? Because he's not offensively when he has 2 goals in 34 games 5-on-5. 2. Right? He's played the 7 most minutes 5-on-5 of any order player. And amongst forwards, he's played the 3rd most. Right? He's +3 at 5-on-5. Right? And that's the one area but you play with McDavid. So you're playing with McDavid. So yeah, you'll be a plus player. But how much of that is you? How much is it McDavid? So, like on the Oilers, the only guys Jeff Skinner's had a tough year 5-on-5. A lot of that came in the first. I think he was like I'll go back, but I think since like November 15th or something, he's even or +1 5-on-5. Early on he got spanked. They were leaking goals all over the place 5-on-5. But I think it's a valid question, man. Hey guys, if the Oilers could find a second line center, they could put Draisaitl McDavid. If they could find a true 2C. As when they won the Cup, Kadri was a true 2 center, opening up 2 really good lines with the top line being nuclear. Perplexed Oiler fan. Are you serious? A true number 2 center? What's wrong with having Leon Draisaitl as your number 2 center? You're telling me that wouldn't be 2 really good lines? What? Look at Leon Draisaitl this year. What are you talking about? He's been great 5-on-5 on his own line. I'm perplexed by the perplexed Oilers fans' comments on this one. Keep in mind, they did it because Rantanen doesn't play center. He's a winger. So they have McKinnon and winger, but they have McDavid and Hyman. Hyman scored 50 goals last year. He's a pretty good player. They need another guy they need another left winger who can score a little bit more than Nugent Hopkins. Totally fair. But I'm not taking Leon Draisaitl out of this. I want to have it. So now I have Draisaitl or McDavid, and I can play them together 5-on-5, coming out of penalty kills at different times. I think it's wonderful coaching how he uses them. But for a lot of it, you're going McDavid's line. Oh, geez, we might have broke even. Oh, God, now they're sending out this Draisaitl guy over the boards. Unreal. They don't need a second line center. They got 2 number 1 centers. So they automatically got 2 good lines. Now they just need some wingers who can finish. Right now, Arvidsson, if Arvidsson can play more like he did in his last 2 games here, that'll be a big boost for them. And I'm a little stubborn, but I wouldn't mind seeing Jeff Skinner for like a good stretch of 7 games in a row play with McDavid. Now, I don't think it'll happen unless there's an injury in the next 10 games because of travel and who they play. But I would really like to see it when they're on that homestand in late January. I think they got 6 or 7 straight home games. You got last change. If you're worried about his defensive game. And I actually think Skinner's Skinner's become more attentive defensively because I think he realizes if he ever going to play with McDavid, it can't just be about scoring. It would be nice. But because Nugent Hopkins, he's playing there and he's not scoring worth jack. He's got 2 goals. 2. Like, I got to look that up. But if you look, I bet you his goals per 60 rate, and I'll do it during the commercial break, but I bet you his goals per 60 rate amongst NHL forwards that have played 400 minutes and is going to be one of the worst in the NHL. Like, and he's playing with the best player in the league. Hey, guys, what about Hopkins on the third line for the playoffs? And then Kane and Skinner, fourth line guys from last year, get a winger. It's definitely a possibility. Well, you don't have money for all those guys, number one. Number two, could you play Nugent Hopkins with Adam Henrique and Connor Brown? Sure. Evander Kane on the top line? I don't have a problem with it. That's an option. But it's a big I don't know because I need to see where's Kane going to be coming off of all these surgeries, right? What's his health going to be at? I think it's a valid question because I don't know. So that to me is the big one for him. Guys, I'm hoping the orders is they went heavy on signing skilled guys with the assumption they could fill out the grit and size. Imagine having Sherwood, Podkolzin, and Holloway in the top 9. That'd be an ideal. I do look at teams in the East that could use scoring that would know Skinner from his days like Boston, New York, Pittsburgh, and New Jersey. From Mark. Yeah, well, let's be honest. Like Kiefer Sherwood, no one in Edmonton had ever brought him up. He's having a great year now. Awesome. And because you can't get every player. I'm not going to get down on the orders management because they didn't go find Kiefer Sherwood, right? Like, I don't think anybody thought Kiefer Sherwood was going to score this much. He's had a career high in goals, and we're only at like 34 games into the season. Like, he's having an unexpected breakout year. Massively unexpected. Good for him. It's awesome. Podkolzin's been a great trade for Edmonton. I think it's valid to say, why couldn't they have signed Holloway? But when they signed Skinner, who they thought would be better, right? They thought they'd have Skinner and they get Holloway for cheaper. And you know what? Then it would have been Skinner and Holloway. And not that well, Holloway's probably a little bit more skilled than Podkolzin. But yeah, in an ideal world, I think it's totally valid to say, hey, you could have matched Holloway and then you'd have him. Now, would they have traded for Podkolzin then? Maybe not. But the other thing is, like, Dylan Holloway is also a guy who's like, having himself an unreal run in St. Louis. Now, is this just a guy who's finally kind of, starting to feel comfortable in the NHL for his sake? Because I really like Dylan. Dylan's, it was always a great guy to talk to for me. I had no qualms with him at all. And I didn't have no beef with him signing where, and taking the money. It wasn't like he hit a massive home run, right? And it's not like his shooting percentage is off the charts. I think it's 16%, Cons. You can look it up. It's like 16.3, 16.2, something like that. But so it's not like he's on a 25%, shooting heater. He's a decent shot volume guy. He's physical. He's played really well in St. Louis. Really well. And he's getting some puck luck for sure. But yeah, I think that one's a fair one to question, hey, why didn't they do it? What's he at?
16 even.
16 even. Okay. I don't mind that. Hey, guys, I've heard trade talks for Nuge, and I don't understand. He's a wonderful two-way player. He's good at helping when Bouchard and McDavid cough of the puck. I do think Skinner needs a bump, and I also think Nuge can get the fourth line's forecheck to be more effective from Soggy Corp. The fourth line. So you're going to play Nugent Hopkins on the fourth line at $5.5 million? No. McDavid turns the puck over? What am I reading here? Like the odd time, but not a lot. Bouchard this year, yes. I think, honestly, and people aren't going to like this, I think in Edmonton, Nugent Hopkins, his defensive play has been somewhat, I think, at times overrated. It's good, but he's responsible, yes. Can he be in the right spot? Yes. Like lately, hey, you're playing with McDavid as much as he does. That's helping your numbers more than anything else. And that line hasn't, like, they've been better lately, but they got off to a terrible start. They're scored on all the time. And he was on the ice. And then he's not scoring anything. Like, you can't say he's a great two-way player when he's got 2 goals, 5-on-5. It's not two-way. It's one-way. He's not doing anything offensively this year. He just isn't. And, like, He's never scored 20 goals 5-on-5 once in his career. Like, he's a good player. I think sometimes we throw out the two-way player because it's like, well, he's a good player, but I got to find something to say he's really good at. I'm not sure he's really good at anything. He's a sound player. He can play in all facets, no question. He's very useful. But right now, he's not a top-line productive first-line winger. He's going to play there because he's responsible, and I get all that, makes good plays, that's fine. But at some point, they are going to have to look and say, okay, do we need more? Right now, you don't, because the team's winning. And that line has found their stride because Hyman is on fire. Right? Hyman and McDavid, that's the duo that carries that line. And it's hard to have a trio. Like, look at McKinnon and Renton. They don't really have a third guy. Gretzky and Curry. Teeking in for a while, but it was hard. Right? Gretzky and Messier and Anderson a long time. They had Craig Simpson worked for a bit. But it's hard to find a trio. But right now, the duo is Hyman and McDavid. And then Nuge is just, he's there. All right? Smart. He knows how to play with him, can get him the puck in good areas, all that stuff. But I don't know if he brings as much as some people think. That's just me, though. I'm not getting rid of him, but I think it's fair to say, could they upgrade him? Because if all of a sudden he's on your third line, you got a hell of a third line. Right? That's kind of how I look at it. I don't look at he's not a good player. I just mean if he's on your third line, whew, or maybe he's on your second line with Draisaitl. Right? That's a possibility too. So, it's a good problem to have. But we won't really know if it's solved until Kane comes back. And then I'd still selfishly, stubbornly like to see Jeff Skinner. We might never do it, though. Right? Like, he had all the injuries and he still didn't get the chance there. So, is he going to do it? I don't know. And guys, do you think Akey, Savoy, and O'Reilly are untouchable as trade pieces, considering how sparse the pipeline is looking? No, I don't think so. Like, what if you can get a right shot Matthias Ekholm? You'd consider giving up one of those guys if he had 3 years left on his deal? 100% you would. So, no, they're not untouchable. They never played in the NHL. You hope they're going to be good, but if a deal came along at this year's trade deadline for a guy with multiple years on his deal, and it was a legit top four right defenseman, I definitely think that one of those guys, if that's what you had to give up as the key piece, I think they'd consider it for sure. Quick break. We'll come back. We got 5 questions and more on the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Day or night, tasting just the right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit FountainTire.com today.
Welcome 2025 with a bang at Rogers Place. It's the Oil Kings New Year's Day fireworks frenzy.
It all starts with the Battle of Alberta, WHL style, as your Edmonton Oil Kings face their arch enemies, the Calgary Hitmen.
It's a special 2 p.m. New Year's Day puck drop featuring a spectacular on-ice fireworks display after the game.
And at every home game, score Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less. The value is king-sized.
Oil Kings fireworks frenzy, Wednesday at 2. Great family entertainment at Rogers Place starts at just $20 a seat.
Save on day-of-game pricing now at oilkings.ca.
Halley. Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's AquaCentral reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade: safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab elevation models. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, you can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
The Boxing Week blowout is back at the Brick. Shop their extraordinary deals like 60% off sofas when you buy the matching love seater chair. Save up to $2,500 off big screen TVs, up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture, and up to 50% off mattresses. Plus, buy more, save more, up to an extra $300 off kitchen appliances. Some exclusions apply. See thebrick.com for details. The Brick, saving you more.
For over 65 years, Denham Ford has delivered the customer service and value that keeps Albertans moving for work and play. And that tradition continues with the final year-end 2024 clear-out. Enjoy low rates or thousands in year-end savings on every vehicle, including F-150, Bronco, and Super Duty. That's the value you've come to expect from where cars always cost less. Denham Ford on Highway 2A in Wetaskiwin or at denhamford.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan. For all your residential water needs, your local water treatment company, more than just big bottles, Culligan.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Rolling right along, 446, positive Friday. Feels so weird to say Friday after 3 days off. Just doesn't feel like a Friday. It feels like a Monday, but it's not. It's great. Some of you probably just took the day off. Awesome. I see lots of shoppers still in the mall. Maybe, is this the first day you can return gifts? I don't even know, but it might be. Or I think they try to avoid that for the first week after Christmas, which I get it, right? The places are packed. I don't want to be dealing with returns just yet. So good luck though if you're braving the mall. Good luck. Let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. And Boxing Week is on right now, man. Unbelievable sales all across the store, every department. The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, question number 1. Oilers, of course, head to California, taking on the Ducks and the Kings. What's the record for the weekend, and what do you think the headline will be on Monday?
Good question. Well, I think they beat Anaheim for sure. So it's just a matter of what happens in LA. Mum's trip, I'm going to say they go 2. I don't even know what the record is on the Mum trips, but I'm going to say they're going to go 2-0 on the Mum trip.
And headline?
Headline will be ending the year on a high.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 2-0 as well. And I'm going to say point night. I'm going to say the Edmonton Oilers offense really starts to go. They're on the Mum's trip, like you say. Everybody wants to get going, playing in beautiful California. Point nights coming up in the next 2 for the Edmonton Oilers. That's my headline. Question number 2. Now, the Moms could do whatever they want, but hypothetically, they could do Disneyland, California Adventure, Universal Studios, Knott's Berry Farm, other or none. If you had the night off in Los Angeles or the afternoon off, what would you be doing?
You know what's funny? I have never been to any of those places. So, well, you couldn't. Does Universal Studios, if it even open at night? Like, if I have a night off, like, can I even go there? So if I have a night off in LA, yeah, I'd probably go Universal Studios. I guess if you're saying it's open till like 10 o'clock at night, like I have practice was done at 2 or 3 o'clock, and I got the whole day from the whole night 3 till or 4 till 10. Yeah, I'd probably go to Universal Studios.
Good rides at Universal. I think you'd have a good time. Yeah. I mean, I'd be going to one of the Disney parks for sure. I did Knott's Berry Farm when I was younger. I'm thinking probably Disneyland for the nostalgia, and Pirates of the Caribbean, Indiana Jones ride. That's probably where you'd find me, just getting my reps in on those.
All right.
Yeah. Question number 3. Who do you think is going to be the wild card teams in the postseason this year?
Go ahead.
All right. In the Eastern Conference, I'm going to say it'll be the Boston Bruins. I think Tampa's going to pass them. And I'm going to say the Ottawa Senators because I want it to happen. I've been rooting them. I'm always hoping this is their year. I'm hoping they can hang on. Obviously, we know they're playing some good hockey. Out west, I will say it is going to be, I'm going to say the Minnesota Wild. I think the Dallas Stars catch fire and pass them. And let's go the LA Kings. We'll say the Canucks pass them in the Pacific. So, yeah.
So
Wild and Kings.
So the 8 teams that are currently in are the 8 you're going to have. You just have Dallas and Vancouver moving up, and Minnie and LA moving down.
Apologies to Calgary and the club, but
I'm gonna say Vancouver is 1, and I will go with. Yeah, probably agree with you on Winnipeg. In the East, I'm gonna go. Well, yeah, Ottawa. I picked them at the start, so and it's obviously a little bit of a family pick. Not gonna lie, and. Well, Tampa is technically ahead of Boston right now in points percentage. They've just played 4 fewer games, and they're only 2 points back. But I will say, Boston's is still the one team. I think if anybody's going to get knocked out of the top 8, to be them. But yeah, the 8 in each side right now look pretty good. So I will stick with that. The Rangers, they're going nowhere fast.
Yeah. If it were to be Boston knocked out, would you have the Penguins or someone else?
Yeah, I don't know why I can't get on the Penguins train. Maybe I should. Maybe I should be, Sidney Crosby. I'd love to see him again. God, it would be great to see like a Crosby Ovi. Imagine that. They're in the wild card, and then they get the number 2, and they get to face off against Washington. That'd be unreal. Yeah, if Boston's falling, yeah, it would be Pittsburgh. I just can't believe in the Blue Jackets or Flyers enough. And I should believe in the Rangers more, but I don't.
I'm with you. Question number 4. Avs giving Mackenzie Blackwood the 5-year, $26.25 million contract extension. Now, down the road a little here, but Stuart Skinner, 1 year left after this on the 2.6 AAV, assuming he's re-signed by the Oilers. What do you think the AAV looks like?
It's a good question. Too early to say, but I mean, because there's a few things that people kind of forget about Stuart Skinner. He's going to have a lot of experience. The one thing that so far in his career is very durable and is very healthy, and that matters. I think he's going to look at the Mackenzie Blackwood one and say, for sure, that's the number. I think Stuart Skinner's probably his next contract will start with a 6 minimum, depending on how the next 18 months go.
Yeah, and that's kind of it, right? We have to see what happens in the next season and a half. That's what I thought, a little bit higher than Blackwood. 6, yeah, 6 for sure. Question number 5 for you. Final question of this edition. What was the best part of Christmas holidays for you this year?
Kind of same as it is every year, man. It's just spending time with family, being relaxed. That's what I love about it. Seeing the joy my son gets so excited around it, gets everybody else excited and fired up, and it's just a great. There's a lot of positivity around, so it's nice. You?
Yeah. I think for me, just Benny's first Christmas, just getting family to get a chance to meet him. My aunt came in from Victoria and got to hold him, all those sorts of things. That's always good to see, and just everybody getting together, having a good time, and then getting to show some of my family at least the start of Home Alone: Lost in New York because they hadn't seen it. Great Christmas movie. Everyone.
Why
should see
just
it.
why just the start?
Oh, they tapped out. They were tired. They're like, we got to go home. They were like falling asleep on the couch. They had a long day apparently, but I think next year we're gonna get that baby going at 4:30 so they can watch it all.
I watched that with my son. Actually, he quite likes it.
a good one.
I think I like the first one better.
They're close though. I'm a big fan of both. I mean, we can probably all agree it drops off 3 through 6 or whatever it is, but top 2.
Whoa! There's 6 Home Alones.
Yeah, I
What?
believe.
Obviously, not all with Macaulay Culkin.
No, Macaulay tapped out after the first 2.
Oh, okay. Who's in the third one?
Nobody we would know. I believe the third one actually does have a young Scarlett Johansson, but that's about it.
What?
Yeah, she's the older sister.
Really? Things I'm learning today.
The fourth one came out in 2002. There was also Home Alone, The Holiday Heist, and then Home Sweet Home Alone. And actually, I think Declan's a big fan because he told me that the third one is after Christmas. Yeah.
Oh.
So, not really in the spirit of things, but yeah, there's too many of them.
Well, clearly. Have to say I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't know there was that many Home Alones. So, but falling off. Not surprised. It's hard to maintain the success. That's why the Bournes are so great. Even when Renner took over, he was still pretty damn good in the fourth Bourne. So I'd love to see a fifth one. So coming on, I should look at that. Is not a new one coming out? God, that'd be unbelievable. Hey, Greg's how concerned would you be about Matthews signed Tim, the Leafs fan? I'm not that concerned yet. To me, Toronto's going to make the playoff. And obviously they want home ice advantage. I get the importance of it. But I would look at them and say, just get Matthews healthy. That to me is their main goal, to get him healthy. So if he has to sit out a month, I'm sitting him out a month. I'm not even worrying about it. That's what I would do if I was the Toronto Maple Leafs. So I don't have much concern yet. Now, if he comes back and re-aggravates it again, that to me would be more of a concern. But right now, today, on December 27th, I wouldn't have a huge amount of concern just yet about Austin Matthews. I think he's, you know what, you just got to get him healthy for the playoffs. And you got lots of time between now and the NHL playoffs. Let's get to the comment and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice. This holiday season, they're serving tidings of caramel joy. Try the salted caramel smoothie and booster ball that will sure to put a jingle in your step. Available for a limited time, so visit a Booster Juice today.
The Sports 1440 update.
After a couple days off, the NHL is back. We're about to get going in Buffalo. Sabres hosting the Hawks. You got the Red Wings and the Leafs. Carolina in Jersey to take on the Devils. Jackets host the Bruins. Preds in St. Louis. Stars taking on the Wild. Utah hosting the Avalanche, and the Sharks meet the Golden Knights. The Oilers in action tomorrow, taking on the Kings. Puck drop 2 o'clock. Our pregame coverage with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson gets going at 1 right here on Sports 1440. World Junior action rolls on tonight. Canada about 35 minutes away from taking on Latvia. Earlier today, it's Slovakia doubling up Switzerland 2-1, and Finland gets past Germany 3-1 right now. Sweden leads Kazakhstan 6-1 as the third period just getting going in the association. The Knicks take on the Magic. Celtics host the Pacers. Spurs in Brooklyn. The Nuggets take on the Cavaliers. Mavericks in the desert taking on the Suns. And it's the Clippers taking on the Warriors. The Edmonton Oil Kings back in action after their Christmas break, taking on the Red Deer Rebels down in Red Deer. Puck drop 7 o'clock. The rematch goes Sunday, 4 o'clock at Rogers Place. PWHL, a couple minutes away from puck drop out in Toronto as the Scepters host the Boston Fleet. And college football right now, Vanderbilt leading Georgia Tech 35-13. Later tonight, Arkansas meets Texas Tech. Syracuse battles Washington State, and USC takes on Texas A&M. Earlier today, Navy knocked off Oklahoma 21-20. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Alan Mitchell from the Lowdown with Lowtide. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Checking off your gift list can go more smoothly when you give smoothies. From now till December 31st, buy a $30 Booster Juice gift card and gift yourself with any regular size smoothie for free. Try the new salted caramel smoothie made with vanilla oat beverage, vanilla frozen yogurt, and decadent caramel. It pairs magically with the salted caramel booster ball, bursting with Score toffee bites, cinnamon, maple syrup, cashew butter, and more. Happiest of holidays from Booster Juice. Download the Booster Rewards app today.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Is it Riverside Motorsports?
No. It's Riverside Motorsports. Over 55 years in business, and people still get it wrong.
Guess it's time to get it right.
Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
A premier hockey solution with a clear path for long-term development is proud to be entering its 8th season of independent borderless hockey, featuring provincial and cross-province competition with showcase-style regular season gameplay and a strong commitment to individual skill development. It's an attractive option for those seeking family life balance. The Hockey Super League offers opportunities for both male and female athletes born between 2012 and 2017. Visit hockeysuperleague.com for more information.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
The Boxing Week blowout is back at the Brick. Shop their extraordinary deals like 60% off sofas when you buy the matching love seater chair. Save up to $2,500 off big screen TVs, up to 25% off bedroom and dining room furniture, and up to 50% off mattresses. Plus, buy more, save more, up to an extra $300 off kitchen appliances. Some exclusions apply. See thebrick.com for details. The Brick, saving more.
Need a solid foundation without the fuss? Richard and Kalina at DCL Pile Driving have your back. Locally owned, they offer straight, driven piles. No screwing around. Serving all of Alberta, DCL Pile Driving gets your foundation ready in hours with minimal ground disturbance. Perfect for tight spaces, whether it's for a deck, grain bins, or RTMs. Tell them the radio sent you and receive a special discounted rate. Call or text 587-322-PILE. DCL Pile Driving. Don't get screwed. Get piles driven.
It's the Nissan Winter Ready event. The all-new 2025 Kicks is ready with standard heated front seats to keep you toasty on those winter drives. And with standard wireless Apple CarPlay, the playlist will be hot too. Right now, lease the 2025 Kicks for the equivalent of $78 weekly for 39 months. Plus, qualifying Nissan owners may receive up to $500 in loyalty bonus. Edge front-wheel drive for $336 monthly with $2,499 down at 5.99%. Conditions apply. See Nissan.ca for details.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Positive Friday. How are you on a lovely Friday afternoon? The final Friday of 2024. Make it great, people. Make it great for those of you that are working. You're just making your way home. For some of you, you've just been kicking back and relaxing. Now you've earned it. Good job. Hope you enjoyed some time off. Probably maybe went for a walk. Because like, how many of you got like food comas at some point where it's like, oh my goodness, I've eaten too much. And then like the next day you do the exact same thing. Oh, that's kind of like part of the Christmas tradition, isn't it? To overeat at least once, right? Like somebody had a family member. Usually it's an uncle. I don't know if I've ever seen my aunt do it. Definitely a few uncles who overeat, and then you know what? The next thing you know, they're trying to catch some Z's on the couch. That happens for sure, all the time. So it's kind of a tradition. Guaranteed.
Why is it the uncle?
Well, guys just sleep better. I don't know. We're more relaxed. We're just like, I'm gonna go have and I've seen them like there'll be people in the kitchen, you know, when you have like the living room area and there's not even a partition and they're on that couch and they're out. Right? Sometimes it's just like a 20-minuter, good little cat nap, and away you go. Ready for another round. It's good. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And so, hey, if you're ready for another round of hockey action, get in at PlayAlberta.ca. Where 8 games on schedule tonight. And then, of course, the Edmonton Oilers are back in action tomorrow against the Los Angeles Kings. As it's time now for the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction, as they are the underground infrastructure specialists. Keep the roadways going, even in your communities. That's what they do. The unheralded ones. Kind of like that third line grinder you don't really appreciate until they're gone. GS Construction. As Mark Spector joins us. And Spec, how was your Christmas?
Well, it's still going on. I'm at a house full of people one more time here, just for old time's sake.
Look at you, eh? Just extended it in there, eh? Old Spec. Oh.
I just passed around a steaming hot dish of Latvian pierogs to a bunch of Ukrainians who'd never even heard of them before, and they're all like, "Hey, man, these are pretty good. What's in these things?" So, yeah, kids are here. Everyone's here, so we're doing one more night here. So let's get after it.
Oh yeah, why not, man? Yeah, great. It's fantastic.
I'll be the uncle sleeping on the couch here in about 3 hours.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Spec, the Oilers definitely haven't slept their way through. They had a great Christmas break. It's a mom's trip. I think this is the first one I've ever had right after Christmas. But so they'll have the moms on the trip, or aunts or sisters or whoever to fill it in to LA and Anaheim. And the next 12 games, Spec, I looked at the Oilers' 12 games and Vegas's 12 games, and Vegas has 10 of the next 12 against non-playoff teams, where the Oilers have a real tough stretch of travel and back-to-back and some good teams that, you know what, if they can stay within striking distance, then it'll be good. Like this is this weekend here, this game against LA is pretty big just because, you know, Vegas has San Jose, the Oilers have LA, a much tougher opponent.
Yeah, give Vegas credit. Like Edmonton's been smoking red hot, and they're not making up a ton of ground. So that tells you how well Vegas is playing, right? They're not an easy catch here. So sure, I think. What are they today? Are they 7 today?
Well, five. Could be 7 tonight
so
potentially.
If Vegas wins tonight, so Vegas wins, and you're 7, man. That's if you're going to reel them in. I mean, obviously you got to win the last game you got with them, but it's going to be something that goes to the last week of the season. Like, everybody knows this. The points fluctuate a bit in the first sort of half of the year, and teams go on runs and all that. In the second half of the year, like, think about being 7 points out of a playoff spot today. Would you pick any team, Jason, that's 7 points out of the playoffs today to make the playoffs? I don't think I would you?
Yeah, the odds aren't great. There's always exceptions, but you're right. The odds are not in their favor.
No, they're not great, but it's a mom's trip, and I did find out this little. So here's a question for you: who do you think, if let's say you're the team services or you're the kind of the person that's responsible for making sure that all the moms or dads get on the bus or get on the plane and everyone's accounted for, and you're the head counter?
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think's a tougher trip, the dad's trip or the mom's trip?
Well, that's a good question. I'm going to say moms.
You're right. You're right. I talked to someone who knows, I'm not naming names, and they said, the dads are always really concerned about, I got to act properly because my son's here and I don't want to do anything. And the moms, they want to get after it. They have way more fun on these trips than the dads have. And the head count for the mom's trip is always a tougher head count than for the dad's trip. Yeah, that's what they say.
Well, that's not a huge surprise when I think about it. They're probably a little bit more relaxed. And you know what? Some of the guys might have played hockey at some level and they get you got to be on time. You can't, if you're not 5 minutes early, you're late and all those sorts of things, right? And
the ladies are having a glass of wine and they're not too worried about all that junk.
Yeah. and the guys are probably like, Dad, don't be late. Whereas he wouldn't say as much to his mom.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So it's fun. I think it'd be fun for these guys to bring their moms on the trip.
Oh, God. That's always great.
I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Oh, God. It's fun for everybody involved. This is such a smart thing teams started doing many years ago. It gives them an opportunity for, to spend some time. Moms or dads, you don't get to spend a lot of time during a hockey season with your son. And so this is an opportunity to kind of get a better experience of what they go through. And I've talked to my brother. He's been lucky enough to be on a few of those trips so far, with Noah. And he's like, yeah, man, it's a lot of fun. He just likes, he says for him, it's like, man, you don't get to see your son very often. So that's more of the part that he likes.
Yeah. And I think the other thing, I think what's overlooked in Canada, our social circles are quite often built around, the parents of our kids' teammates or the parents of our kids, the parents that are sitting around watching at karate or swimming lessons. I know when you have little kids, and I've been through it a long time ago, but you move. I remember we moved out to St. Albert and my boy Rudy started playing hockey. And next thing you know, after a hockey game, you're going back to someone's kitchen with a few couples and you're having a drink, or maybe you're stopping for taking all the kids for pizza, right? And it becomes your social circle. And I think when your kid gets the NHL, obviously those days are over. So I think it would be nice for all the parents to get a chance to, for Mrs. Draisaitl to hang around with Mrs. McDavid for a couple of days. I'll bet you they have obviously got a lot in common. I'll bet you have a really good time, right?
Oh, I would think so, right? And it's just, it's a really good experience to kind of see what your son does on a day-to-day basis. And I think the two matinee games are actually a very smart idea to do it with, because, you have a dinner and then go out, then you have an afternoon game, and then they can still have another dinner, the next night where, you're not going to be out too late and anything like that. So, and obviously, I get that it's a quota business trip and they want to win, but it's funny, Spec. It doesn't matter how old the player gets. Mom or dad are in the crowd. You're always a little bit more fired up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. I've talked to many. That's a question I've asked lots of NHL players, especially guys like they play their first game or whatever it is. When you skate out on the NHL rink, are you looking for where your mom and dad are sitting? And 9 times out of 10, they go, oh, yeah. I know where their tickets are, and I'm waiting. I peek up to see if my parents are there. So it's not just when you're a little kid like we all did, right?
Oh,
They're
yeah.
still doing that. They still do it in the NHL.
Oh, God. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. You see it.
I like that.
Oh, I think it's fantastic. It's what it should be. Nugent Hopkins is back, missed the one game. And then Arvidsson's back on Draisaitl's line and against his former team. And Victor Arvidsson, that might have been his most engaged game of the season, Spec. He came back. He was playing good until he got injured. The last period of the previous game and then the last game, I thought Arvidsson looked kind of like he was before he got injured. And that's big news for the Oilers.
Yeah, he didn't take as much. When I saw the first couple of periods, you're right, in his first game back, I thought, oh boy, I wonder how long this is going to take. But here we are. He played his second game and he was fantastic. So it is good news that he, let's hope he can pick up, because good Victor Arvidsson's a really good player. What we've seen in Edmonton so far, we've had injured Victor Arvidsson, we've had okay Victor Arvidsson, and the few games where we've had good Victor Arvidsson, I've loved the player. Like, he'll be a really, really useful player when the games are important. And you know what else I thought the other day? I heard you talking earlier about Nuge and people putting him on the fourth line. And I don't disagree. I mean, if you got a team where Nuge is your third line left winger, you got a hell of a team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you're wrong there. But I'll tell you, that power play without Nugent Hopkins on it was disjointed. It was tripping over itself. The puck did not flow through all the guys the way it does.
See, I thought it actually looked pretty good with Arvidsson. Arvidsson being on the net, they scored the one goal, right? Like, I actually didn't mind it, him and having a right shot there.
I don't know. I didn't think it looked that great. I mean, yes, they got a goal. I just thought the puck movement was, and I get it. There are 5 guys that play together for 3 years, so of course it's going to be different. But my point would be, I think sometimes when Nugent Hopkins isn't playing, you can appreciate a little bit of the things that maybe you don't notice as much when he is playing.
No, I don't, and like I said, hey, Nugent can be on my team. All I'm saying, when you play in your top line, like Spec, I looked up the numbers during the break earlier when I was talking about Nugent Hopkins. So there's 327 forwards that have played at least 300 minutes 5-on-5.
Okay,
right, and so that's like 10 forwards a team, pretty much. Right, so you're 10 forwards deep on most teams on average who have played 300 minutes a game. And Nugent Hopkins, out of the 327, he is 290th in points per 60 at 0.95. Like, Nathan Walker is the same as him. Sam Carrick is 0.94. Ivan is 0.92.
Wait, any of those guys playing with McDavid every shift?
That's exactly my point, right? Like, that's my point. And then you even look at his goals per 60, which is equally unimpressive. Like, he's got 2 goals. Like, and you're playing with Connor McDavid. Like, he's 295th in goals per 60, so even worse, right? Now, there's a few other guys below him, like, funny enough, JT Miller. Like, that shows you this. JT Miller's scoring at a lower rate per 65-on-5 than Nugent Hopkins is, right? Chandler Stevenson, right? So there are some other guys, but, there's not a lot of them, and none of them are playing with McDavid, and that, to me, is the issue where he's got to get better at.
No. Listen, if you're going to win a Stanley Cup, it takes, you can't have passengers. And right now, this team has, Nuge has been a passenger the first half of the year, not for lack of trying, but it's not going for him. And there's plenty of time. We're 35 games in. Who else has been a bit of a passenger a lot of the time has been Bouchard. Like, to me, Bouchard has given me 50% of how good he could really be, because we saw it with Bouchard, and we've seen it with Nugent Hopkins, how effective he can be. So yeah, it is totally fair to expect more from 2 guys because we've seen it, because we know they can do it, right? It's not like we've never seen Nuge score 104 points. Sure, that was a career high season. I don't expect it again, but I expect more than 2 even strength goals in the first half of the season for sure. So yes, you need more out of 93 if you're gonna. You can't be a passenger. You can't have passengers, man. Not if you're going to win.
No, not at all. Mark Spector joins the Sports 1440. Spec, you look at the orders, and Jeff Skinner, because he's the one guy that maybe would get a chance there if there's some injuries. But it looks like, based on practice today, Derek Ryan might be the extra guy out. So now we're after Christmas, Spec. He's played game career number 600. Do you think we see something here? Or is he just going to be the 13th forward now? They're going to go with Janmark, or do you think we see Noah Philp in January?
Well, I don't know how soon you see Noah Philp. I just don't know. I don't know. I'm not a guy. I'm not watching Bakersfield play. I don't know where his game's at. I keep hearing, you can look at a score sheet. But I'll say this to you. Sorry?
Yeah, the scouting reports I'm getting on Philp is that, he had a little bit of a, because we had his coach on. He said, everybody forget he took a year off, and he had a great camp, but then kind of the wear and tear of the season kicked in, and in early November there were some struggles. Says for last month he's been really good defensively. I don't know if you saw that fight with Mason Gerson, who is tough.
Yes.
Noah Philp did really well in that one. So, can skate, can kill penalties. Like, he checks all the boxes. Now, the only box he won't check is experience. But if you're the Edmonton Oilers, And you've got, everybody knows they want to improve their fourth line center spot, but they'd like to improve their defense spot. They'd probably like to improve another scoring winger if they could. You probably can't do them all. So if you can find out if a guy internally can do it, he's the only guy that can fill any of those holes internally. No one else. So why wouldn't you try it at some point?
Well, what I was going to say is everybody knows that Noah Philp is coming along here, and he'll succeed Derek Ryan in that spot. Now he's going to come here as a fourth line center. Who knows what happens? Never put a guy in a box. He might succeed Adam Henrique as a third line center too.
Yes.
Right? I don't know. I'm not going to tell you he won't. But I think everybody in the organization, everybody who watches the Oilers, all of our listeners, we all know what's going to happen. When is it going to happen? That's the question. When is Noah Philp at the moment where, as Ken Holland said, and I always believe this, I only want to call you up once, right? I don't want to call you up, send you down, call you up, send you down. And I'm not saying it was, Holland was perfect at that, but that was the theory he tried to attain. And that's what you want to do with Noah Philp. He needs to be ready to come up and stay up. When that day is coming, it's coming. And listen, Derek Ryan knows it's coming. So what happens with Derek Ryan, I'm not sure. Like, he's a very, if he's my 13th forward, I can live with that. He's an older guy. That's how guys' careers goes at this point, right? They get replaced by younger, bigger, stronger, faster kids. And that's who Noah Philp is for sure.
Yeah. Well, Ryan right now is your 13th forward and you haven't even called him up. So that's where it's like, I'm not sure if he's even here, right? Like that's kind of the hard part for them to have to figure out to see what's going to go on in that regard.
Yeah, no, that's difficult. Listen, I've watched a lot. First of all, we got to say this. Derek Ryan has, from a guy that was skating in Claire Drake Arena when he was like 24 years old or 25, whatever it was, he has had an unbelievable career to break in at age 28, 29 and still be playing at this. It's been unbelievable.
Yes.
But Father Time is undefeated. There's always a young cat looking for your job. And I think both of those things are ganging up on Derek Ryan right now. And if he's not killing penalties for you here in Edmonton, man, now you say, okay, hold on here. What really are we doing here?
Yes. No, 100%. And like game 600, man, he's had a 600 game career and he never played an NHL game when he was 28. That's what's amazing about it.
There's probably someone else who did that, but I'd love to know their name.
Yeah. No, it's true, right? Like how many guys have played 600 games but never played in the NHL at 28? Now, you probably go back different times in the original 6 days because there wasn't many teams, I'm sure. But I'd like to say, okay, since 1979, 80.
Yeah.
How many
Lots
guys?
Of guys? The odd guy breaks in at that age, Jay.
Yeah.
The odd guy. But not many of them hang around for 600 games after they break in.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. That's crazy. That's a really unique career that he's had. You know what? Hats off to him. But you know what? Professional sports, man. There's no people don't hang around and wait for you. If a new kid comes along, they're going to have to figure it out. And I know that's going through Jeff Jackson, Stan Bowman's minds every day. What are we doing here?
Actually, he might have been 29 now that I look at it. He might have been 29 because he came in late in the 15-16 season. So I'll have to look at when that was. But yeah, that's unreal for him to do what he does. And the thing is, people said, like, would you put him on waivers? Because here's the thing. I could see some teams, though, lower in the standings that would claim Derek Ryan. Derek Ryan might not be able to play on an Oilers who are a cup contender, but there's lots of teams he could play on.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, two things here. Two things. If I'm Anaheim, I mean, I guess I could bring Derek Ryan in as a role model for my younger guys, but geez, there's not much left here. Can you be a role model when you're at the stage of your career Derek Ryan's at? I'm not sure. If I'm a good team, a playoff team, I'm probably not bringing him in. You know what? Derek Ryan's almost one of those guys. I think there's enough respect for Derek Ryan around the league that the Oilers could probably, if Stan Bowman sent a note out to 31 general managers, he could probably get him through if he wanted. And I'm not sure Derek Ryan goes to Bakersfield, Jason. I got no inside information. I'm not sure he goes to Bakersfield. What do you think?
Oh, you mean if he cleared waivers, he might just retire?
Yeah. I'm not sure. I
don't know about that because I think he would go. Well, A, you'd have to walk away from your contract. Number one. B, you go there. You might not like it, but you're thinking, hey, you know what? Maybe someone still looks for you because he is a specialist, and teams are still, there's lots of teams that might say, hey, man, we'd take Derek Ryan on our fourth line because he can win faceoffs, and he might be able to kill penalties on our team.
Well,
right?
More so. Like if I'm Derek Ryan, I'm not wild about going to a new team and starting over. My thinking is, look, I got a year left in my contract. There's a pretty good chance that I'm probably done with the Oilers after this year. I might be done everywhere. Who knows? I want to hang around Edmonton because maybe they need me. Maybe after the trade deadline, when rosters expand, when they get to the playoffs and you have extra guys, a couple injuries, he's back playing for a Stanley Cup contender. I'm not sure. If I'm Derek Ryan, I might rather go to Bakersfield and hang around and say, I got a half a season, I'm going to gut it out, rather than go to some completely new organization and try to find my way there. I'm not sure.
No, it's valid points, Beck. I don't like talking like this about guys. I got a ton of respect for Derek Ryan. I really do. I hate to write him off. I hate to send him down. I don't love any of that. But reality is reality. Noah Phillips sitting there. He's getting better. It's happening, man. It's happening, and it happens to everybody. Yeah, it's very true. Spec, enjoy your party. We will chat with you next week.
All right. Thanks, Jake.
There you go. It's the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. Quick break. Low Tide will join us. There's some early scoring in the National Hockey League. A few games looking like there's a little bit of turkey still on the ice. No one's getting any shots on goal even. And that's kind of what it is. There's either the first period's a dog's breakfast in some of these games, or one team comes out flying. It's usually kind of how it works. So can the Buffalo Sabres, can they get on a winning streak? Ooh, remember the big 7-1 win for the Islanders? It was like an early Christmas present to themselves. Can they win 2 in a row? We'll find out on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Oodle noodle origin. In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudell, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the new world. At Ellis Island, Nudell was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as
Oodle Noodle. You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Now, all sizes of premium roast coffee at McDonald's have a new low price starting at $1 plus tax for a small. It's great if you love great tasting coffee. $1 small premium roast coffee every single day. Must be McCafe. Plus tax at participating restaurants in Canada. Excludes delivery.
The Boxing Week blowout is back at the Brick. Shop their extraordinary deals like 60% off sofas when you buy the matching love seater chair. Save up to $2,500 off big screen TVs, up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture, and up to 50% off mattresses. Plus, buy more, save more, up to an extra $300 off kitchen appliances. Some exclusions apply. See thebrick.com for details. The Brick, saving you more.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 14.
You on the road to come. But with the 2025 XC90 from Volvo of Edmonton, you'll have the versatility to take on whatever life throws at you. The new XC90, a luxurious SUV with seating for up to 7, boasts newly upgraded body and wheel design. It's the perfect choice to drive into the coming year. And right now, you'll save $4,500 and lease from 1.49% on all in-stock 2025 XC90s. Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, 1205 101 Street Southwest.
For half a century, that's 50 years, GS Construction has been building the foundation of Edmonton and the surrounding area's infrastructure. But let's make one thing clear. This milestone would never be achieved without the dedication of our incredible team. Together, we've built the underground infrastructure that keeps things running smoothly, from the existing to the new underground systems. It's 50 years of hard work the team has put in to make it all possible. Here's to another 50 years. For more on our team and our work, Visit gsconstruction.ca.
New year, new you. Let's kickstart 2025 by making better life choices, starting with quality pizza from Papa John's. Right now, get 25% off any regular menu price pizza with promo code BETTER25. A deal so good, it might just count as self-care. But hurry, resolutions wait for no one. Offer ends January 5th. Order now at papajohns.ca with promo code BETTER25. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some Papa John's.
For over 65 years, Denham Ford has delivered the customer service and value that keeps Albertans moving for work and play. And that tradition continues with the final year-end 2024 clear-out. Enjoy low rates or thousands in year-end savings on every vehicle, including F-150, Bronco, and Super Duty. That's the value you've come to expect from where cars always cost less. Denham Ford on Highway 2A in Wetaskiwin or at denhamford.ca.
Cars cost less in Wetaskiwin.
At Canadian Tire on December 26th and 27th, spend over $200 pre-tax on almost anything and collect 3 times the bonus CT money. Conditions apply. Details online.
Portions of this hour brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. The Canada-wide clearance is on now at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on a 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Elevation. See more at gmcoffers.ca.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
5:30. Welcome back. Positive Fridays. You make your way home, or maybe you're already at home relaxing. You got your big World Juniors fan, Canada, coming up. Pretty good chance they will improve to 2-0 later on tonight and break up the Sabres. All they needed was a win. They won 7-1, and now they are spanking the Chicago Blackhawks 3-0. 14 minutes into the first period. Zach Benson, Jack Quinn, and Alex Tuck have the goals. Meanwhile, Todd McClellan's start in Detroit, maybe it wasn't the coach. Maple Leafs lead 2-0. Mitch Marner and David Camp have the goals for Toronto. 2 goals on 6 shots. Ouch. Hurricanes up on the Devils, and actually they're all over them. 8-2 on the shots, 1-0 on the scoreboard. The Columbus Blue Jackets, Sean Monahan. And Marchenko just keeps piling up the points, man, very quietly. If you got him in fantasy, he is killing it. And then some Central Division matchups later on. Minnesota is in Dallas. Nashville's in St. Louis. Colorado's in Utah. Utah is very close. They might push for a playoff spot. And then the late game has the return of Tomas Hertl as he is in San Jose with the Vegas Golden Knights. And no Jake Wallman tonight for the Sharks. Weakened defense score gets even weaker tonight as we go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. They have the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta with 4 divisions in project, service, tag, and energy, solar, and EV. Learn more at actionelectrical.net as we welcome to the show the host of The Lowdown, Alan Mitchell, from noon to 2 here on Sports 1440. LT, how you doing?
I'm very well. The weekend, I mean, it feels like I just started the week and now it's the weekend already.
I know.
I like it.
It is. It's very nice. It is very nice. When you look at the Oilers, if you were going to give them a Christmas present, what would it have been?
And I just good health, because I'm going to tell you, I really like this team. I like them up the middle. I know Derek Ryan is a little slow, but I like him. He's a smart center. I like Henrique on the third line. McDavid and Draisaitl in December played well together and apart. They're, Skinner is Skinner doesn't fit, but he's playing better. He's scoring. Podkolzin has eaten everybody's lunch. Nuge has been a little bit banged up and maybe ill and not playing as well, but they've got a Vander Kane on the way. The Janmark's played really well on the right side. Arvidsson is coming along. Hyman is absolute fire. Connor Brown had a great month in December, and they're doing well, and everything they seem to touch. The defensive pairing of Nurse Kulak is great. Stetcher, you could say he's a weak link, but it's not really like it's not like he's so bad you bench him or anything like that. And the goaltending at 5-on-5, the save percentage for both goalies in December has been fantastic. So I hope they had a restful holiday and that they have good health. And I don't know when Patrick Kane is coming back, but at the deadline, I suspect it'll be a right defenseman or a defenseman who can play right. But I really like the team right now. I just think that the break was fine, but they were playing so well that sometimes you worry that they're going to come back and fumble a little.
Now, I don't know if that was a subliminal message about Patrick Kane and the orders. Ooh, could you imagine Patrick Kane in the top 6 in Edmonton? Detroit, because honestly, in Detroit, I could see them moving him. Like, what is he? He's not going to the playoffs there. Like, I wonder.
And also, his numbers are terrible in Detroit, but Detroit is so bad.
They are bad.
Think you can blame. I don't think you can blame Patrick Kane for the lack of numbers, because they're like, I honestly don't think they have 6 really good forwards, and they have way fewer than 6 really good defensemen.
Yes,
they're not good. And,
no,
they're not. And I think I've always felt that Patrick Kane with McDavid might be a ridiculous line.
Yes, because Patrick, he's not a big transporter of the puck. He doesn't need it. Right. But when you have Hyman over there and then you'd have Patrick Kane, oh my God, it would be like just how he thinks the game. If there was one player that I would like to see play with McDavid, God, he'd be close to the top of the list.
Well, and his hands, he's so quick. Like, he still has those ridiculous hands, and hands are the first to go, but the feet are, but he still has it. Like when he is in a zone or has an opportunity, the puck on his stick, he can really make good things happen. He's always been magical that way.
Oh God, sign me up if Patrick Kane was an option. I would strongly consider it, and I would think he would waive it to come to Edmonton. Why wouldn't he get the chance to play with McDavid? Because whether it's with David or Draisaitl, to me it wouldn't matter. He'd be lights out with either one of them. It'd be fun. No, I don't think it's a possibility, but it was fun though when you mentioned, just for good time's sake. We were talking about Derek Ryan, and I agree with Spec. It's tough to talk about a guy who's had such a great career that didn't start till he's 29 years of age. I looked it up. It's amazing. 600 NHL games. And you know what? Still really good in the faceoff circle, 63%, but he just doesn't play that many minutes. And now you've got a non-center who's taken his job in Matthias Janmark. Because, today it looked like he was the extra guy again. And I just wonder at what point do you think they say, geez, maybe we at least have to try Noah Philp. Like, I don't know if they're waiting for an injury, because then it's an easier, way to do it. And Derek Ryan, you don't have to put him on waivers, because I don't think they really want to do that and all those things. But it is one where, age is undefeated, and it just seems like at some point it's going to happen.
Yeah, and I mean, it's tough. I remember, and this is a different situation. I remember when Kyle Brodziak, he didn't go down. He didn't go down. He didn't.
Well, they traded him, right? He got hurt, unfortunately, and then they traded his rights.
Yeah. But they never thought of sending him to the minors, and I don't think they would with Ryan. And you don't want to put him on waivers, as you say. So I mean, and I know they're trying to recruit cap space, so there is that as well. It's a tough spot, but here's why I think it's important to play Phil, because you absolutely want to know what you have by the deadline.
100%.
I mean, he looks good. Jason, those 3 games he played, he did not look out of place. And I mean, he looked like he was new, and he maybe wasn't, the playbook might have been a little new to him, but he looked very capable, and he has good speed. He can win faceoffs. He, penalty kills. He's a really good player. I think he's NHL ready. They have to see him, and that's probably 20 games. So you're right. It'll be injury, but I think that they may have to massage this with Derek Ryan, which is too bad, because he's a great story. But in some kind of way, I think he's going to be an NHL coach one day if he wants it. But in some kind of
very
way,
heady guy.
Right. I think maybe you say, look, it's one Alberta Golden Bear handing it off to another, and then you massage it in a way that he's still part of the team. I don't know how they do that. I'm just making stuff up as I go along, but I don't think they'd want to lose that brain of Derek Ryan's. I mean, at the very least, he could teach people how to win face-offs, right? Because he's so smart, and it's not his fault. He's older and he's not as fast, but it is, the responsibility of the team to take that into account and make their team the best possible team it can be.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. You look at, so they have Podkolzin, Draisaitl, and Arvidsson's back as a line today. And Arvidsson, it looks like he did before he got injured. Like Arvidsson had a really slow start. Then he had about 8 or 9 games he played really well, and then he got hurt. And his last game in a period, I thought he looked like the same guy. Now he's going up against his former team. You get Arvidsson going with Draisaitl here, that could be a huge boon for this team.
Oh, yeah. It kind of irritated me when people were saying, Jeff Jackson had a terrible July 1st. Everything's failed. And I'm like, man, you got to give these guys a chance. And Arvidsson got hurt. I don't think he was right for even when he was playing there a little bit, but he looks exactly like the player they needed. And they can use a guy like that. They really can. And now what you want them to have is a lot of good health between now and the playoffs. And ideally you find a spot for Skinner wherever that is. But I think that anybody who's like in any way given up on Victor Arvidsson is making a big mistake. He's a hell of a hockey player.
Yeah, I think that would be a little premature to want to write him off at this stage of just what he's accomplished in his career. I think he gets a little bit of a longer leash, at least for me anyway. The Vegas Golden Knights. So I wrote my article today. I went into a deep dive in the remaining 48 games of the top 5 teams in the Pacific. And the Pacific Division is the only division with 5 teams in the top 15 all year long. Well, technically Calgary's 16. So top 16 all year, top 16 since November 1st, top 15 since December 1st. Like, it's been a tough division with those 5 teams. Yeah, San Jose and Anaheim aren't what they were, but Nashville's, Columbus, we go down the list. Islanders, heck, the Rangers, for God's sakes, right now are brutal. Montreal, Buffalo, every division has 2 or weaker teams, but the Pacific's pretty tight. And Edmonton's been unreal since November 1st. The only team better has been Vegas. And then they're being better in December. The only team better was Vegas. So they're 5 points back. Vegas has a pretty good schedule down the stretch. So do Oilers. They both have they're both in the top 5 easiest schedules. Now you got to take advantage of that. But how important do you think it is for Edmonton to maybe win the division?
Man, it would be huge. They haven't done it since, I think, 87. I might be wrong. You'd have to check me on that. But I think that was the year. And they've had really great teams. They've won Stanley Cup since then. And they've been several they lost. But Vegas is they're the team to want to catch, because if it came to a game 7 against Vegas, you definitely want to play it in Edmonton. And I do think it's important. And
yeah, we're going to try to get low tide in a better. I don't know if he's just in a different area. All of a sudden, his line's gone a little wonky, so we'll try to clear that up a little bit so we can hear it, what he has to say. It's a little bit clearer. Will be better. So we'll just try to get him back here in a second. But yes, the Oilers haven't won their division since 1987 in the regular season. That is. They obviously just won their division in the playoffs, but we're talking finishing first in your division. That has not happened in Edmonton since 1987, which is the longest drought of any NHL playoff team. The only team that is close is the Islanders, and they haven't won their division since 1988. So Edmonton actually has not had home ice advantage in the second round since 1991. So it's been a while. Obviously, you can go to the Cup final without it, but I think it helps you if you can get it. And so there, it's something to chase. You got to have something to shoot for in the regular season, Al. And the bullseye on Vegas might be it for Edmonton.
Yeah, and the Oilers lost 2 Game 7s this century, and they did it on the road.
Yes,
and The thing about Vegas is it's a circus there. Like, I've never been there, but I watch it on television, and the home crowd is. I'm not saying these guys are intimidated. I'm not saying that, but I do think it's a bit of a rush, and I think that you maybe I've always felt there's a little bit of a, not intimidation necessarily, but the referees are at the game, and it is a show. And I mean, if there is a tie goes to the home team, maybe they get that. I think that is true. I do think it's important, and especially because the Oilers are ticking off boxes. They made it to the Stanley Cup Final Game 7. If they were to win the division, and that's one more step on the way to Stanley Cup. And Ken Holland said it, and he was absolutely right. You got to get to be top 16, then you got to be top 10, then you got to be top 8, and you got to get to the final. All of those things happened. He didn't win the thing, but I think that is the road. And I think finishing first in the Pacific Division is one of the boxes the Oilers should check off, because it would make the road. I think playing in Edmonton in Game 7 of any series is an advantage.
Could you imagine the madhouse of a Game 7 in Edmonton?
And they sing any anthem, Russian anthem, American anthem, Canadian anthem. They'll sing it all in Edmonton. You get a Game 7 final. I hope it's against Toronto, because that will absolutely melt the country. But it would be fantastic to play in Edmonton.
Oh God, yeah. Like it was. I've been in that building when it's not a Game 7. It's crazy, right? Game 6s, and they've been monumentally fun. And you look at Edmonton in the Stanley Cup Finals. They've lost Game 1, Game 2, and Game 7. And so that's home ice gone. You're down 2-0 in both of those series. One you're down 3-0 eventually, but you lose Game 7. It matters. It makes a big difference, especially later on. And to me, that's where the focal point is for the Edmonton Oilers here down the stretch. And to me, that'll be their biggest challenge.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I think they're good enough. Kulak, we haven't even talked about Brett Kulak. He has stepped it up, and I know he's like 30. But you can't tell me he's not playing the best hockey of his career by far.
Oh yeah, no, he's been pretty good. That's totally fair. He's been fantastic on the back end. He's such a good skater, very consistent, very smart, plays left and right, and Stetcher plays more with Nurse here, but it kind of switches with Kulak. It doesn't matter who his partner is, and what's great about that is it's given them the flexibility that maybe we can't find a second pair right D, so we'll go out and we'll upgrade our third pair lefty, and then we'll move Kulak there. So it's definitely, I think, a smart decision by Paul Coffey and Chris Knobloch to do. Al, have yourself a great weekend. Enjoy the playoffs. Are you concerned at all about Mr. Hertz?
Yes. Yeah. I hope they don't play him. Just give him the rest. But I am worried, because this has been a kind of a Cinderella story. And as much as, Barkley has made a difference in the running game, you need a smart veteran quarterback, and Hertz is that. So I'm worried about it, but I try not to think about it, because football is so unfair. Damn it. It really is. I mean, they've had a great year, and they don't have Nick Foles, so they can't bring him back like last time. But I hope he'll be okay. Keep him out this weekend. Doesn't need to play. Just keep him out.
Yeah. Al, that first period between the Blackhawks and Sabres, the Blackhawks were just an unmitigated disaster. Anybody who thought Luke Richardson was the problem, I don't think so. Al, have yourself a great day.
Yeah, beautiful. Have a great weekend, guys. Happy New Year.
That's Al Mitchell, a.k.a. Low Tide. Quick break. We'll come back, wrap things up on a busy, positive Friday in the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
3, 2, 1. Happy New Year. Let's rock. Edmonton's biggest New Year's Eve party is at On the Rise.
Featuring Edmonton's #1 party band,
The Barkels. The Barkels. Get ready to dance the night away as we ring in 2025 in style at OTR.
Tickets include a 3-course meal, party favors, and bubbly at midnight.
This party sells out every year.
Oh, and if you don't have anyone to kiss at midnight, Marco is always available.
OTR's New Year's Eve party.
Tickets at OnTheRocksYEG.com.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
It's getting free all season long. Can you believe it? Looking for an enjoyable and affordable family night out? The Spruce Grove Saints are excited to introduce their Kids Get In Free program. All kids 12 and under receive free admission for every Saints home game this season. Bring the entire family for action-packed junior hockey at a fraction of the cost. For more information, check out sgsaints.ca.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Delicious news. The McDonald's meals you love are now $9.99 every day. Grab your faves like the Big Mac, 6-piece McNugget, McChicken, or Filet-O-Fish with medium fries and a medium fountain drink for $9.99 each plus tax. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Edmonton, Alberta, and the surrounding area, prices exclude delivery.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet every week all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Didn't get a holiday bonus? At Wolf GMC Buick, we have the bonus you need. Get 0% financing on our most popular trucks like the Sierra Half-Ton Crew Cab during GMC's Canada-wide clearance. Or select up to $8,500 on a number of Sierras. If you're looking for heavy duty, we have that too. Get GMC employee pricing on our Sierra HDs, Yukons, and the all-new GMC Hummer EV. And seeing it's the holidays, a $500 bonus on select 2024 and 2025 models. But when the holidays are done, so are these deals. Get to Wolf GMC Buick today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. The team at Old Strathcona has special training dedicated to reducing the impact of cancer care before, during, and after your diagnosis. From lymphedema to the management of fatigue and side effects of chemotherapy and radiation, they can help. Learn more at leadingedgephysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back. As we wrap up a busy, positive Friday, I will tell you this. The first periods tonight illustrate why sometimes the coach just takes a fall for poorly constructed teams. The Blackhawks were unmitigatedly terrible against the Sabres. The Buffalo Sabres dominated them to the tune of 4-0. Shots were 11-2. Then the Red Wings and the Maple Leafs, Red Wings down 3-0. They're not very good. The Austin Matthews Maple Leafs are just dominant. Now Mitch Marner has had 2 goals in that period. Tavares 2 assists, and just not good. And Todd McClellan, God love him. I get why, man. There's only 32 NHL jobs, and you're not gonna want to take many of them, or turn down them when you get a chance. But whoo, that Red Wings team, Steve Yzerman, they gotta get going here. And I don't know if it's gonna be. Well, here's the thing: this season is wasted now. What you have to do is try to figure out, okay, which guys do we want to get some young guys some opportunity here? You know, mix it in, a few games here or there. That's what they got to do, because you know what? Their best chance at this point is to just crater and have Nashville pass them. Buffalo wins tonight. They would move into a tie with the Red Wings, so you'd only have San Jose and Chicago below you. I think Nashville's going to end up passing them and say, hey, you know what? Maybe one year the lottery will go our way a little bit better, but they got a deep construction on how they're going to have to build that team better, because they're not showing any sign. They're actually getting worse. So, see, Conman, who are you picking on the weekend? The orders, what's happening?
Oilers go 2-0 and look very impressive. I think they're going to look like the Buffalo Sabres and the Toronto Maple Leafs in their return to action.
Yeah.
Points coming.
All right. On behalf of Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, I'm Jason Gregor. Thanks for joining. We'll be back on Monday here on Sports 1440, but we do have pregame action with Walks and Paulson coming up at 1 o'clock tomorrow and Sunday. So a double dip of pregame shows. And then, of course, we'll have all the postgame reaction. Have a great weekend. Please don't drink and drive. Don't be inebriated. Get home safe. Enjoy all the sports. Enjoy the World Juniors. Let's get to the comments. Sports 1440 update brought to you by eWell, your partner in power since 1975. For all your electrical needs, go to ewel.ca. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
NHL action back after a couple days off. After 20 minutes, Sabres all over the Blackhawks 4-0. Leafs doing the same to the Red Wings. They lead 3-0. Devils up on the Canes 2-1, and the Jackets and Bruins tied at 1 apiece. Later tonight, Blues host the Preds, the Wild in Dallas. Utah takes on Colorado, and the Sharks welcome the Vegas Golden Knights to San Jose. The Oilers back in action tomorrow. 2 o'clock puck drop taking on the LA Kings. Pregame coverage 1 o'clock here on Sports 1440 at the World Juniors. Right now, midway through the first period, Canada and Latvia scoreless. Earlier today, it's Slovakia knocking off Switzerland 2-1, Finland over Germany 3-1, and Kazakhstan falling to Sweden 8-1. In the association, a couple games underway. Magic on top of the Knicks 38-37. The Celtics have a 21-13 lead over the Pacers in the first. Also in the first, the Spurs trail the Nets 15-8. Later tonight, Grizz Pelicans, Nuggets Cavs, and the Mavericks taking on the Suns. PWHL right now, you've got Claire Turnbull scoring the lone goal for Toronto. They lead New York 1-0. Oil Kings in action down in Red Deer. Puck drop just after 7 o'clock. The two teams meet again on Sunday down at Rogers Place. That'll be a 4 o'clock start. And college football right now, Vandy leads Georgia Tech 35-27 with possession. Texas Tech trails Arkansas 21-3. Later tonight, Washington State battles Syracuse, and USC taking on the Texas A&M Aggies. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, we've got Fox Sports Radio. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.